didn't forget about you.
Let's leave with that. Let's start with that.
You told me about that. I didn't forget about you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. We got GI Dave and Destro Designs in the house here.
What's up, friends?
What's up?
Thank you. And we've got a lot of our friends here: Wolfson, Reptide, O'Leary, Josh,
Wolfson, Melted Copper.
Smash. Melted Copper, of course. Cookster 7979. Hello. Heroes for Hire Comic Club. Hello. Lynn Green is here.
Nice.
Nog hides hog fat. Okay, nice. All right.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Jedi. All right. Welcome, everybody.
Just another jerk.
Yeah. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. We got GI Dave back here to discuss. I've got a bevy of GI Joe weapons that may or may not make any sense. And we're gonna see if GI Dave can make them make sense.
Hit me.
Yeah.
I love it. Put me on the spot, man.
Well,
does well under pressure.
Yeah. We will finish with heavy duty because I think that's the craziest.
Definitely.
But GI Dave is going to start us by telling us how the ferret's two-headed missile system works. Okay, so that's what we're gonna. He said he figured that one out. So let's lead in with that, and then we'll talk a little bit about Joe June.
All right, let's do it.
You asked about this one, and before it came on, I wanted to have an answer for you. So I did as much research as I could. I cannot find anything that remotely looks like a double-sided missile. But looking at the ferret's blueprints, if I recall, I believe it's number 3. They call out that it's a laser-seeking combat missile, COM-BAT. Now, with that acronym and it being laser guided, I had to do some work. So I got some little hand notes. I'm an analog guy. So the ferret missile, also keep in mind that it's low, okay? It's on an ATV quad. This thing might be going through the mud. It might be going through sand and stuff like that. It's going to be traversing terrain. That combat became a little bit of a clue for me. So it's COM-BAT. GI Joe loves its acronyms, and I'm going to give this one. So the rear missiles, the rear fins, the way it's positioned looks like it's backwards. Those are not backwards. Combat stands for Canard Optical Missile Blast Away Tail Plug, okay? Because when the missile goes underwater, you got to be able to protect the ignition and the engine, right? So it's got a blast away tail plug. That's what that stick is hanging out the back that makes it look like another directional. But because it has to be so high maneuverability, it's a laser guided missile and it's low, it's going to need to shoot up like a javelin. It's going to need to come off those racks fast. Those canard wings on the back that are inverted, they're going to give you much more maneuverability and hitting the surface of that air and cut that missile and make it turn a lot faster. So what the one side that you see that makes it look like, oh, that missile could be shooting another way. No, that's a watertight plug that blasts out to save the ignition system while it's driving, doing its thing. When the guy squeezes off the trigger, the missile goes up and then it seeks for any laser designation.
Oh, okay, nice. All right, I like mine going backwards though. Sometimes.
Hey, you know what? Hey, that's the thing about Joe, dude. You can take some nippers and cut it right in half, and it can be 2 missiles.
Yeah.
You know, as a kid, it just there's certain things in GI Joe that even as a kid, you're like, that ain't right. You know, you still love it, right? Like I loved the ferret. I loved the double-sided missile. I thought it was awesome. But there was times where, like, I remember, like, my cousin, you know, who was more of a Star Wars guy, we would get together. He'd have a Star Wars. I'd have my Joe's. We'd intermix a little bit. And I remember specifically, like, taking the missile off and, like, trying to make sense out of it himself, you know. And eventually he was like, this is the dumbest thing
Star Wars guy. Help me out here.
Right. Yeah, definitely. That's a good one, though.
Come on. It's awesome. They're awesome. I was a fan.
Oh, I love it.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun, you know.
Yeah, and then, you know, as a kid, like, I mean, yeah, it did. It went backwards, it went forwards and all that stuff. But, like, as an adult, when I try and look at it and rationalize it, and then I start looking at the prints and start working an acronym backwards, it almost starts teaching me what it is.
Interesting. Okay. Melted Cup says, "Ooh, cue the slide whistle." Is the oddly educational toy guy again? Where is Anchor Viper? Jeez, you really just you only want the woman, huh? You only
Melted Copper's been nice enough to swing by live from Viper Den Studios a couple times the last couple of weeks. Very
nice.
very fun. He gets his ribbing in, and it's usually very entertaining.
Very nice. Yeah. We had, so this should be fun. Nice. All right. Well, we got all kinds of good stuff. This is a good question. Josh Blackburn, got to know about Duke version 3's riding crotch rocket. This is that
that mortar thing. You're talking about the tan mortar?
Yeah, that he rides.
Yeah, I got nothing. I can't ride that thing. I mean, it's a mortar. I'm all about. I love mortars. They're awesome. They're really the kings of like the battlefield besides artillery. But getting on it and riding it, I mean, dude, you're not a cowboy, Duke. I mean, you got the nickname and stuff like that, but you're going to operate that thing. You're going to set it up. You're going to aim it, and you're going to step off to the side because you don't want your like where you straddle something on the mortar tube. That's just not going to be good for anything.
Your balls are going to get kind of hot.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good at all.
Assholian just became a member. So by the way, I do have memberships. I haven't really pushed it that much yet. The theory is I am going to try to keep the majority. I'm at this point not thinking that I am going to do members only videos, except we are going to eventually do a members only live stream. So if you want to become a member, it supports the channel. You get a little icon, says you're an Iron Grenadier or whatever, and we're going to do there'll be a thank you out. We're just racking up a few members here and there. So if you're interested in becoming a member, greatly appreciate it. I already do appreciate you all because I think, by watching, by hyping, by liking, by whatever, by commenting, you are supporting me. So I want to acknowledge that too. But if you want to support me more, go for it. All right, I will take it.
And dude, I gotta be honest with you. I think it's entirely worth it, just from the sense of, never mind what you're gonna get later with a live show, but more like I've said it 1,000 times. Your content's the best. Yeah. It just is. It's got like there is such a thing as overproducing something, and you've got it dialed in just right where you can tell it's a professional, legit video, but it doesn't have the shit that the kids need, right? With a bunch of pops and bangs and crazy shit. It's nice, and you've got a perfect way of talking. It reminds me of Robert Stack from Unsolved Mysteries, and I mean that in the most best of compliment.
That's a hell of a compliment right there, man. Wow.
Yeah. So don't be afraid to say thanks to brother for the time he puts in to give us a look, because there's a lot of content out there.
Stack was a D-Day vet.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh,
Mike Anches also joined. Thank you so much. Yes,
very
appreciate
cool.
it.
Very cool.
Pedro's Ladder says he appreciates this as well. Yeah, thank you. Somebody owes me a bunch. I don't know about that, man. It's gonna go blue. We gotta go blue. What are you gonna do? I think we're doing members only. It's definitely going blue.
Although that's the next tier. You don't get that for the next tier. That's coming out next year.
Riptide O'Leary became a member. Thank you. All right, here we go. Look at that,
brother Rip in the house. Thank you. Appreciate it, brother.
You can always count on Riptide. That guy's solid.
Daughter won't pay for itself, guys. This is Melted Copper. Very true. It's very true. Yes. Thank you for saying that, so I don't have to, because I'm not a big beggar for money.
Speaking of support, we could shout out. We could shout out our brother Eric Louvre real quick for sending us the Trench Vipers. They came in all the way from Ireland. Eric Louvre, thank you, brother. We appreciate it.
Right on, man.
And he sent this as a magnet.
I love it. I'm a drinker.
There we go. Had to shout out our dude. Thank you so much. I got a Pythona I'm going to send back to him, and I'm trying to get my hands on a Range Viper. That's what he said he was looking for. So fair trade to me.
Thanks, Josh Blackburn. Appreciate it. And if you join, you get to see the length. Actually, every once in a while, Michael breaks out the hair. He's got, if you're not aware, Michael has the most metal hair you've ever seen in your life. It's just flowing locks. It's like Thor, just a ride.
I'll promise to do. I'll promise
to literally hear Megadeth right now.
I'll do the whole members only streams with the hair down. So sign up.
You are gorgeous. Look at
With the hair
that.
down too, except
Look at that
Nice,
Kentucky
nice.
waterfall.
But you look good with a bald head, though.
yeah,
I know
I
it's
got those, I got a nice, non-weird shaped head.
right. See,
Always
that's the
ask
thing.
for once you go bald.
If I didn't have this, it is a very odd shaped head. So when I played football, I think I was like 12 or something like that. When I got to like the higher team, I think I was playing modified, and I shaved my head like all the way down. And oh my god, dude, I have like it's like a calcium deposit that just runs over the top of my head like a big knot. It's crazy, dude. I don't know what it came from or how it got there, but yeah, that shit is wild. So yeah.
And I got a high school buddy that's got a square head, dude. His head is absolutely square. Yeah.
So I've had long hair almost my whole life. There was 2 times I lived in Massachusetts. I can't remember why. I don't think it was for a job. I'm sure there was a reason. But for like 2 years, I didn't have long hair. And when I was young, my mom blackmailed me into cutting my hair one time. I stayed out all night and came home at like 8:30 in the morning, and my dad had already gone to work. And I walked in, and my mother was like, "Well, your father thought you were in there sleeping. So as of right now, everything's fine. If you cut your hair, I won't tell him what happened." He goes, "But if you don't cut your hair, I'm going to tell him, you're going to be grounded for the rest of the summer." And this was like week 1 of the summer. So I was like, just don't go too short. And she went, all the way down, basically a buzz cut. So, yeah.
With the hair, you can do OnlyFans. I think, is there a big demand of 45-year-old men OnlyFans?
Look, I don't have the 6-pack anymore, but I am a sexy motherfucker. If I thought that this was going to net me some money, man, I would be in front of that camera. I don't mind. But
I hear you could be taking yourself while you're working, Mike.
Yeah, listen, I don't care who's watching as long as they're paying.
When did the childlike happy guy become a Viking? It's a good question. Anyway. Okay, let's get it. So before we get into this, let's just talk about the Yojo June that isn't.
Sure.
That isn't
briefly, because what's going on, man? This was like, I was talking to Dave about this. I was saying, hey, Dave, you want to be on either the 22nd or the week after?
Depending on
Dave's going to Joe Fest. It's not going to work for him.
Oh, nice. Okay.
He's like, all right, maybe the week. I was like, maybe if they give us a good Wednesday live stream with a lot of stuff, I might need to pivot and do a Yojo June, which you could join us for that too. Yeah, and I was like, nope, nope, don't need to, no pivoting. That was dog shit. That was nothing. They gave us nothing, man. No.
I wound up writing my last, I think it was Monday? Thursday's article for Pendora's Lair was basically, the title was Whistling Past the Graveyard, because I feel like that's me just pumping my fist at everything about classified these days is like, that's not what's happening. Now, we don't know. For all we know, new people are going to come in. It's going to be great. We don't know. Ultimately, that's it. But I feel like, if you just step back and look at the facts without trying to justify any of them, you have the two head honchos on the design team leave, no HasLab, which I'm okay with, mind you, but I'm just saying the design team is broken up, the 2 guys left, no HasLab, and we're gonna put 0 effort into Yojo June. like Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't need the bells and the whistles, but those 2 poor guys, they did not set them up for success.
No. And that's the thing is I really like Dan. I've watched a ton of his stuff. I enjoy him in his element. That, like, with all due respect, I don't know if they prepped him. I don't know if that's not his element or what, but he literally looked like a deer in headlights. And that's not the cat that I've been watching for years. You know what I mean? And then
I watch him all the time.
Right.
Yeah. And it was a mess. And I just found the whole thing disappointing, actually. It was just kind of disappointing because, we know that there's stuff going on inside, blah, blah, blah. We all know that stuff.
Yeah.
But in the same sense, if I were in charge of a brand like that, I would be putting some serious flex on the screen to reassure my fans
it was not
that this brand is going to keep going, whether or not you guys are going to gossip about designers and all this stuff.
Right.
This brand is going to remain strong. That's not what they did.
The only thing it assured me of is that there might be problems.
That was exactly what it did when all of us for a long time were saying, no, give them the benefit of the doubt. This is going to be great. And then they just,
I lost a lot of I lost a lot of positivity in between because basically like, Tony or Lenny left, and that was one thing. And it was like then like a week later, BMAC comes out and he made a whole post on Instagram and was like, "Oh, we still have Tony. Everything is fine. Everything is great." But then like a week after that, Tony's gone, and it made it. That's what made it seem like, oh, there's chaos that nobody knows. If BMAC's writing shit like this, I'm sure he thought that was true at that time. But a week later, that changes. I mean, you just add all these little things together, and you're like, damn it. I mean, I didn't expect 2026 to make me feel like 2025 did, because that would be hard. 2025 was banger.
That was a banger year, man.
Why wouldn't it go up though? Why wouldn't it just be better? Right. It doesn't make any sense.
That's the business model, isn't it? You want to do better, right? Yeah. Why would you? Who wants less the first quarter of this year? Give us, I don't know.
We've done last year. By this time we had, I believe the snake. Didn't we have the snake armor by now?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Announced the claw.
Yes, that's right.
It's a ridiculous amount of stuff. Ridiculous.
The French Viper. That
was
it was world building was coming, and now all of a sudden, no HasLab. No, it's like on one hand, I'm like HasLab. I think somebody here said they were not all right with the lack of HasLab. And I get that because it's like, well, on one hand, my wallet likes it, but on the other hand, I kind of agree. Yeah, Stitch Young says not okay with it. The other problem is like, well, how many years of classified are we going to get? They're only going to do one a year. So now you skipped a year. Now that's something like the Havoc. You're just not going to get it ever. Or big vehicles, because they're certainly not doing big vehicles,
So I got the list in front of me. The year started off with, if I'm trying to remember correctly, let's see, nope, not that. Let's see, we go all the way down here to the first wave was, if I remember correctly, I think Saw Viper, Leatherneck, Dial Tone.
That's last year.
And Xandar. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This time last year. So that's the first wave that came out.
Pretty strong. That's a strong announcement.
Then we got our dude. That's crazy. And they're all bangers. Yeah. Then after that, heavy duty, the Trench Viper, the Claw, then this killer wave, Frag Viper, Blowtorch, Darklon, Footloose. Boom. Crazy. Then
dude.
Law and Order, Mass Device Breaker, Crystal Ball, Slice and Dice, Snake Eyes Mass Device.
Dude, you're making them sound worse by the figure.
The polar bear, man.
Cobra Snake Armor, the Dreadnoks Cold Slither set, Night Force Beachhead Quick Kick.
That is
version 4, Major Blood. I mean, I could say the whole thing. I mean, there's still another 15.
Let's throw out just a couple I can from memory. Ghost Viper.
Yes,
that Scorpion.
Yeah. Yep, Desert Scorpion.
What about that Grim Viper? I thought that was going to be dirt, but it was awesome.
Surprise.
Yeah. Awesome figure.
Sci-fi. Budo.
Sci-fi. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Budo is incredible.
I bought 3 Budos, dude. I got a Samurai Hit Cat squad, dude. That's really cool.
Crankcase with the Awestriker. Monkey Wrench. The second Major Blood. Snake Eyes version 4. Mainframe. Wetsuit. What? Holy shit.
Oh, fucking Monkey Wrench.
Yeah, Monkey Wrench.
That is a nuts figure, dude.
And that's not even including the retros. I can't remember who the retros were. I think they were not that great. That was like actually no, the Rock and Roll Mindbender Viper, and then Flint Cover Girl Televiper, and then the Bat and the green shirt along with the retro Viper. So that's not bad. That's pretty decent.
Yeah.
But dude,
they can redeem giving us the Thunder Machine, like Cypher 63 says here. If you give us the Thunder Machine, you redeem Yojo June. If you only have an hour worth of material, just do an hour-long show.
Yeah.
Don't do 4 shows that suck.
Right.
Because I think if you shoved it all into one show, it would be pretty good. You'd be like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I personally is what and I've been doing this a long time, but I'm not a smart man by any means, but I can see trends and I've been collecting this stuff for a long time. And what I think is going to happen is Hasbro's going to kind of throttle for a bit while the new team gets its bearings, and we might get some new releases, some of the Wave 1 retros, some of the really hard ones. They really need to do that because a lot of this base didn't jump onto classified Wave 1 like a lot of us did. And they lost out on what a snow job. I mean,
Yeah.
I could count on all these figures that
Ooh,
Hasbro.
that's
All they got to do is make a call and say, yeah, make another 100,000 of those, make 100, and they can throttle like that for a year while the new team gets its bearings. That would be great. And I also see them. They should pivot to the Energon universe. And I'm saying that as I'm not the biggest fan of the Energon universe, but GI Joe has to evolve.
I
Like
am.
nobody's going to accept Shipwreck as a Navy SEAL these days in 2026.
Yeah.
I love him, but
I think the good news, or at least if we believe what they're saying, is that that Lenny and Tony had their hands on stuff for like through 2027, right? Almost into 2028. So if you have all those figures, right, and you start weaving in some Energon universe, maybe even a figure or two, because listen, every time they create a figure, it's a banger, right? I've like Wolf Spider, the Trench Viper, they're all fucking awesome. The Ghost Viper, like legit
original ones have been good.
Original shit. So I'm willing to be like, hey, if y'all want to take a run, but weave it all in, right? Like even if you figure out of a wave, if you get a figure from somewhere in the late 80s, right, which is more or less where we are with releasing those. So late 80s figure. Oh, here's two Energon universes, because it'd be good to have two of them together, and and then you're gonna do a retro. Here's your retro psych out, right? Because I guess
absolutely, that sounds like a great model moving forward to keep people, especially if what Mark's saying about the guy from Invincible making a GI Joe show. Will bring in an audience worldwide, and it will change this brand into a way that we haven't seen since the first cartoon hit the show, back in the 80s. That'll change everything. Nobody's gonna want an 80s Duke. Nobody's gonna want an 80s whatever. They're gonna want Energon universe stuff in that show.
And they've created a couple of great characters. Risk is awesome. Chameleon, she's not really creative. She was created before that, but they would make great figures. It's just win-win. Start bringing in Mask. Start bringing in
Mask is dope, dude.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Why not? So I don't know what's going on, but okay, bringing on this. So I just got Destro Iron Grenade here. I don't know why I haven't gotten mine. I feel like I'm always the last to get everything. So I haven't got mine either. So because I would just fail completely because people are like, "Why don't you do reviews?" I'm like, for a number of reasons. One, nobody watches them. Two, I never get anything like, I would be like last guy in line because everybody has their shit before I. Does anybody get their stuff early here? How do you get your stuff?
No, dude. I see how these guys get it online like month, like it just gets announced and then like and I won't mention the channels, but like it'll get announced, then the cat's got it in his hand, and I'm like,
some of it has to do with overseas. Like I know a guy who's got a connection. I think it's in literal China, and
maybe that's it.
And then he sends.
It's the only way it's happening, because the factories, they don't care, man. You know what I mean? It's not like they really have any loyalty to Hasbro these days anymore. It's all subbed out.
Something I did get.
Who would have loyalty to Hasbro, and Hasbro shows loyalty to nobody and nothing?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like not
Ever.
even like fans.
Ever.
It's like basically saying we don't want to make toys anymore. We're going to make apps for shit and whatever. So yeah, Bobby B always gets his shit early, and I love Bobby B. He's always you can never beat him. I think he does have a China connection.
But maybe it's the name too. Maybe somebody looks at that name and they're like, ship this out.
He's a military guy. He's great. I love his stuff, but he's always first.
I like his channel too.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
You know what I did get that I was surprised about was I did finally get a set of Ramp Rats, and
not bad.
Pleasantly surprised. They're actually pretty cool.
Yeah, you want some toilet cleaners too? You want?
Yes.
Come with the toilet.
I still rather have mission crates from Chris from Sis 3D Arsenal.
Me too. Yeah.
But this isn't terrible. It's they definitely do. They were very janitor-esque. There is no doubt about that. If you took this black thing off of him, he would be quite you know what they're missing? That big janitor ring of keys, right? Remember janitors?
That would have been cool.
Like 100 keys on there. Crazy. And now these dudes today are these kids are spoiled. They get one little swipe card to get in and out of everything. I used to have to carry around. My back is fucked up from carrying that ring of keys.
Yeah. I want them to make some Joe deck dogs. I want some Joe deck dogs. I
Yeah.
like that set a lot, and I think a Joe side would go good. I like the support troops.
You do. It makes. I mean, you're useful, I guess. All right, so let's just talk briefly about this. Then let's skip. Then we'll go right into all you GI Dave here. So because this is the only interesting thing out of last week's live stream, I think, right?
Dude, I don't know why, but that arm just sticking out like that, it made me nuts. Now, I don't know what it looks like. For all I know, it's going to be awesome. But my initial reaction was like, that looks ridiculous.
It's a robot arm, right?
That's for sure. Yeah, I think so. That's what everybody's Synapse. Our brother R.A. Rain said that it's called Synapse.
Yeah. Okay, so that is a character that they recognize in the comics?
No, he is completely new. He's like new creation.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I look at that and like you could have made that look really cool. And I don't get it. I do see it almost looks like there's light passing through the torso. So like I see some dots in the torso, and maybe it's just my monitor.
No, I see him. I see him.
Okay, so it makes me wonder. Like I was looking at that. Like, is he a bat? Like half cyborg? What is he? I don't know. I have not really caught up on the Energon universe. I know that Revanche and it's all cybernetic and all that stuff. So this guy could be a mix of both.
I am excited to see it. That's for sure.
Yeah. So what I heard on Chris on Full Force, Chris, he said the thing is somebody was like, he doesn't know anything. Why would he know anything? He literally sits in a room with Lenny and Tony and the guy sculpts. Every single day they share a cubicle.
Corey
in boss fight. He knows. He's seen the figure. He's seen all of the figures. He can talk to and ask Lenny. All he has to do is go like this.
Hey Lenny,
or go like this and ask Tony. He obviously knows. And on his live stream, he said, "I've seen it. It's awesome."
Perfect.
I take his word for it.
He said,
"You know what? That's good enough for me."
Not necessarily Cobra. Meaning, he said, but it's not a Dreadnought. It is either a sub team or it's a totally new or a totally different faction. It is.
I'm all for a new faction.
Iron Grenadiers could be Iron Grenadiers, but it's not necessarily Cobra. That doesn't mean it's not Cobra.
Right.
It could be like a sub. But what other sub teams of Cobra are there? Other than
Python Patrol. So Python Patrol, Iron Grenadiers.
You consider
Iron Grenadiers is really separate though. They're like the enemy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, kind of headman. He could be a headman thing, like headhunter, but he's probably not.
He said Robo Joe. That's gangster as hell.
Robo Joe. I think that's. I mean, I can't really think of any other subgroup like Python Patrol.
Cobra didn't have many subgroups like the Joe teams and stuff like that. Not that I can think of. I mean, their subgroups to me were the different troop types.
Yeah, I mean, there's like Eco Warriors or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Or Red Shadows, they could be. But who knows what it is? I'm just throwing it.
Brandon 8269's got an interesting comment. He says, "Is it? You'd have to see how he spells it. Is it synapse? How we think, or synapse, like SINAPP?"
I gotta address it. Yeah, Jedi. No, he did not say. I've listened to it 17 times. He said it is not necessarily Cobra, indicating it is not Cobra. It is a subgroup of Cobra. 100%.
So is Revanche in the comics? Is Revanche Cobra?
Revanche is not Cobra.
Okay, so then I think we can kind of say that like maybe this is the first Revanche figure, right?
Right.
It could be.
Well, the dude. Well, Revenge. Right.
It's but that really not a Dreadnought. It has been the two things Chris said is it's not Cobra and it's not a Dreadnought.
I love it.
Star Brigade has Cobras. Yeah.
So yes, it is. So Diaper Island apparently came out and said he's a Dreadnought, which has completely been absolutely confirmed is not true. But what are you gonna do? Night Creeper, that would be cool. Yeah, I guess Night Creepers are also actually a sub team, but I don't think they're designated on the cards as a sub team. Whereas like Iron Grenadiers and Dreadnoughts usually do have their own distinction. This is going to have a distinction like a Dreadnought or the Iron Grenadiers, something like that. Dreadnoughts work with Cobra; they are not Cobra, but you could put them on the blanket of Cobra, and they're going to have a red card on the back. That's what this is. He's something like that, according to Chris.
I liked how they did it back in the day. If it was Cobra in that little stamp, it would say Cobra the enemy. Otherwise, it just says the enemy, right? And
Or Dreadnought, or it told you the faction straight up.
Right.
Headhunters, that would be awesome. That would be so cool.
Oh my gosh, I'm so in. The Headhunters would be great right now.
Yes, definitely. I need it. Headman's got to be coming. But all right.
Headman's cool, dude. So underrated.
I guess we can move on from the Yo Joe June. Imagine if I had to talk about Yo Joe June for an hour and a half here.
You can. With, I don't know how it's going to work out. You know.
Let's move on to the topic of the evening. We're going to start here with this because this is a Yo Joe June reveal that we all were excited about.
Yes.
But,
Flag.
Explain to me this. Well, also, so Destro and I Designs and I will just give you, give me our like layman's opinion on this shit. All right, Michael, and I'll do the same, and then we'll get your GI Dave your take. How does it work? That might be kind of fun because we have no idea what we're talking about.
That's a great idea.
And we have no idea what we're talking about. So I'm going to give you my jackass opinion. And then
I'm not saying I'm not a jackass. I am a crayon-eating moron.
You're a jackass, but you have this expertise. That is true. That is a good point. What do you think about Flash's laser rifle, Michael?
So I actually embraced, like a lot of people were like, oh, but they're all like lasers. So to me, he was the ultimate laser guy. So number one, he could use it to cut through big steel doors, right? What all the other little pew pew lasers couldn't do. This like is a concentrated beam. I almost in my mind, I didn't say it like this, but I like a lightsaber, right? Like a Star Wars lightsaber, how they could take it and cut through shit. That's what that is, but stronger, so to speak. And to me, I always had it in my head that there was crystals in there. You know what I mean? Like it's a concentrated, you only need a little bit of energy and the crystals refract it back and forth and make it to a big bright thing. And that's what and even as I became an adult, I was like, I don't think I have anything better than that. I think that works for me.
Yeah, there's actually that you could actually apply that. There's like quartz crystals actually with a piezoelectric by squeezing a quartz crystal, you actually generate electrical current. So you're not too far off with that. So that's actually a thing. With Flash's backpack, I see it going only two ways. It's not a chemical laser like we talked about with the HAL. That is a very big device. So this is a solid state, clean, direct energy weapon. And I think that Flash is going to use this exactly how we've seen in the comics. It's going to be a precision tool, not so much a weapon, but when Flash had to cut through some conduit without cutting wires, the power source on his backpack is only going to be good for X amount. And what I see being the variable of how he can use his rifle is duration of blast, power of the blast, and the range, the focal point of the blast. So depending on those two variables is going to tell him how much ammo he's got. So when he goes down in like issue 1 and he's got to cut that conduit without severing wires, he's really operating his laser very close on a lower power setting, and he could sit there for a couple hours maybe with like a torch, just kind of cutting that stuff away. And then there's another spot I believe in the comics where we see he has to cut a door apart, if I remember correct.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so these are all absolutely the ideal spots where I would see a laser trooper. Now, then you say, well, why is he in combat? Because there is going to be some very unique situations that come up where we've got this piece of conduit, we can't cut any wire, and if we use any power tools, it's going to do it. You've got a place for this guy. And he's got such a unique niche with a direct energy, solid state weapon like that. He may not be blasting holes through tanks. Maybe he can, maybe once, I don't know. But I really see him as being the smart guy, the electronics genius, the IT guy that might go into to prep a building before the Joes have to storm Cobra. You know what I mean? He's going to be the guy that goes in and severs some of these wires and stuff. And the laser would be a perfect tool for that.
So what about it? Like he concentrates a beam on his tank, cut through the gas main,
The only problem I have with that is because it stabilized with his arms. And the only problem, yeah, his arms are stabilizing it. If he had some sort of tripod, if it was mounted on something and the hiss was not moving, then yes, you could burn a hole. I believe it was 2008 or 2009. The U.S. successfully shot down a moving air-to-air missile from a 747 with a direct energy weapon mounted on it, the nose of it. That is a marvel of achievement. You know what I mean? So for this guy to take a focal point, let's say it's a 1/4 inch, to take a 1/4 inch burn and try and hold it in one spot long enough, it's not going to work. And the amount of energy that you're thinking that you want to laser blast through that hole. When I was a laser technician, there's actually a transfer of energy that happens. If I had a block of metal and I wanted to cut a hole right through the block of metal, I had to set my laser at very high pulses to dig and burrow through that metal, because if I would have taken a laser at full power, basically the inside of the metal starts to boil and the chunk of metal explodes like a grenade. So there's like this. So this stuff actually happens, and it happened in my shop multiple times. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the bad things that happen. So like maybe that's the potential. Maybe that's where Flash can come to his own, is that there's some sort of direct energy transfer from the laser that superheats whatever the hell he's aiming at, ceramic armor, metal armor, anything like that, besides any type of a blat of armor, because that disperses the light molecules. But you could potentially take out, maybe put a burn hole through something light armor. But I really see the problem there is you really got to kind of hold it. You know, you got to kind of burn through it.
What if they make a really GI Melted Copper says should wear a lab coat? He's like the science guy of the toy channel.
That's been seconded by multiple people.
Yes, this is a good comment too.
I would love it. I would absolutely love it.
Brandon says laser mad by Styro Pyro makes lasers, burns through steel with ease.
Laser mad by Styro Pyro made side to make lasers.
Very cool. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so he's doing.
Yeah.
He's taking those laser pointers and he's amping them up. And you can take these laser pointers. I played with one myself. I in full disclosure, I was playing with gunpowder in my garage and I blew off my hair and stuff like that with a laser pointer because I was amping it up. That is absolutely true. Yeah, that works.
It's powered by
eyebrows, beard, and everything. That was about 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
100%. I've seen that guy on Facebook that dude's talking about, and that's what caught my attention. Was the kid was like, he like, to get your attention, like it's like a trick when they make a video. He was like, I got 400 car batteries, so I was like, I got to see what this kid is doing with 400 car batteries. And he sure enough, he's got them all laid out. And what he was doing was he was seeing how thick a junction plate would have to be when he flips the switch over and sends the power through. Sure. So he started off with like something super thick, and it just like blew up. Yeah. I was like, yo, I love this kid. I love this kid. That was crazy.
Sir Pedra's Lair has a good comment. It's powered by Dark Energon. Of course, that's how it works. It works because
and that's going to be the new out for everything.
Yeah,
everything that they want to explain. All they got to do is just throw Energon at it, man.
And that's what they're doing in the comic book. If anybody's reading the comic right now, basically everything is powered by Energon. It's all like, everything is Dark Energon. The Dire Tech that Crystal Ball just got introduced.
Yep.
And he's the Dire Tech. And his Dire Tech is powered by Dark Energon. You know what I mean?
And Dark Energon. Okay.
And that makes sense. It unifies everything. It kind of works.
It does.
Definitely. I agree.
So with a powerful enough source, he could the beam could be more powerful, more concentrated, but we just don't have.
So I would go so far as to say, if that cat right there, if I turned his backpack into a fusion reactor the size of a soup can, and he had enough of capacitors, battery, whatever you want to call it, to where I could draw from this reactor, charge those capacitors, I could make that thing do crazy stuff, right? But the problem is we don't have a fusion reactor that small yet. As soon as we do, shit's going to get lit, trust me. But if we were deploying a tactical nuke on the field, there's nobody else that I would want having it than Flash. He's about as cool as you can get. And I mean like that with his nerves. I mean, this file card even tells you that. So if the Joes were to sneak a fusion reactor, some kind of crazy tech on this guy's backpack and have some sort of capacitors that actually allowed him to use it, then you get into the realm that this guy could possibly burn holes through tanks. Yes, then he can do stuff like that. But it's really the power source, the capacitors, and the dump of the energy.
In which we've always lived in. I think what's great about GI Joe, it's always lived in, to me, like 10 years in the future. But in some of the stuff, or 20, it's just like the cutting edge of technology, which I think is really fascinating. When it does, and it's more than that, I get a little annoyed at times. So I kind of like, and like lasers, I think even though lasers have not been, they're kind of like, they feel like the hoverboards from Back to the Future. We thought we'd get them, and it's very disappointing that we don't have them, and the hover cars and the Jetsons and shit. But it's like, you did think you were going to get the lasers, like, right? Like you thought you were going to get the bats and the lasers, and we got the bats, but we didn't get the lasers. But
I didn't want the lasers, and that's why I worked so hard on that snow job rifle. So like, I wanted to explain the snow job XMLR as a rifle, and that's what I worked on. So if for anybody out there that's watching, I just released a blueprint of what I call the snow job rifle, and I actually named it. So that's
let's talk. Okay, we can move, because I like to move with the conversation naturally. I just want to address this. Gabriel Rivera says, I thought it was a regular Energon. You are correct, sir. I made the mistake of saying dark Energon.
I didn't know enough to correct you, but I was like, dark Energon. Maybe that's the new shit. Okay.
There is dark Energon, and it has a big place in the Transformers universe as a, like, kind of, it can be addictive. It can turn you into zombies. It does all this kind of shit. But I don't think it's been brought into it hasn't been brought into the GI Joe comic yet, but it may have been. I haven't read the Transformer one yet. But okay, so let's talk about. So you want to talk about that next, then? So GI Dave, man. Let me just explain to the audience here. GI Dave has created an incredible diagram of the XLMR A. I think is that 1A XLMR.
The XMLR.
Okay.
Laser rifle is how it was called on the side of the snow job package.
Which is what Snow Job carries, and which in the cartoon every GI Joe carries.
Absolutely.
Now, here's why I'm not going to show it. Our friend Laser Pants over at 3POA just had, if you're a watcher there, you may have seen this. He went on, and he somebody, I'm not going to do it. Somebody raised their hand like a gun. It was Mad Hatter Toy Reviews, good guy.
Yep.
And they shut his stream down, and they made him wait 2 days to show another stream down, because apparently you can't show a gun, even though he didn't show a gun, because I watched it. You can't even show like, if you, I think what it is if you looks like you have a gun in your hand,
right,
in any way, or you're advertising a gun, you can't advertise a gun, and you can't look like you are holding one because they're afraid somebody's going to maybe kill themselves. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, they shut down your stream. So we're just gonna. So that's the other reason I want to show it. So what we're gonna say is, instead of me showing it, just a bypass on. I don't want to freaking deal with it.
We released it on X. So if you want to see it on X, it's gonna be on X. And if you go to Joe Fest this year, I'm gonna have 100 of them printed. Ask me for one, I'll give them to you. But I always had a problem as a kid with the snow job rifle being a laser rifle, because for me as a kid, Flash was the laser rifle. And if you read, Snow Job's file card, he's not a laser trooper. He is he's one of the Joe's best sharpshooters ever.
Right.
Biathlon pro. Dude, the Snow Job is really like the first Joe sniper before shooter was introduced into the retcon, right? So is what I present is Snow Job never had the XMLR laser rifle. Is what he had was the Springfield Armory M1982A1 Special Operations Battle Rifle. Hurrah! That's what I'm talking about. Caliber 5mm, rate of fire selectable, 3-round hyperburst, 700 rounds per minute, 1,400 rounds sustained fire. Ray, what we're looking at, you look at the Snow Job rifle, it is indistinguishable now. Any of you gun guys will not be able to unsee it. You see the round rotating action of the G11, which coincides right in 1982 with the Joe launch. And so the military guys are happy. I have searched every database. M1982A1 does not exist on a canteen, not a tank, not a helmet, not nothing. And it's the same year Joe came out. What we're looking at, the Snow Job rifle, is a caseless 5mm assault rifle specifically developed in 1982 for the ACR program, which was happening. They did look at the G11, they looked at the M8, the OICW, and many other rifles. This was one of the ones that survived. And it was so good that we called it the XMLR, hidden under the guise of the Star Wars SDI initiative to fool the Russians into thinking that we actually had infantry-based rifles that would make them spend more money and assets and trying to make infantry-based rifles when we never had it. We had a 5mm caseless, and when you put that baby on full rate of fire and you got tracers in there, it's gonna look like you got lasers, sweetheart. I promise you that. So that's how I'm going with
really
it.
not following. Hold on. GI Melted Copper says GI Dave is like Tackleberry from Police Academy.
That's a good one.
I prefer to see myself as a Gunny Hartman, but I'll take it.
We were talking about this before when we got on. GI Dave and I were talking about how our generation versus the new generation, how we bust each other's balls all the time,
brutal each other.
Sure you can take it.
Brutal.
But yes. So wait, okay. So why would it look like? So you're saying it isn't a laser rifle, but it would look like and feel like a laser rifle is what I'm following.
So we did this in the 80s. And Mark, you're a smart man. I'm not. And you know that the United States had what's that?
Brain only filled with useless.
Oh, you can say that. I see through it. So for everybody else, the United States, we faked out the Russians and we told them that we had lasers in space, that we had satellites and all this stuff, when all we had was really an F-15 that could deliver a satellite killer. We told them that we had all this stuff and they bought it and they sunk a ton of resources, money, assets, and time into it. And it really was one of the leading factors of the downfall of that era. They did not sustain their military and everything because of how much money they were pouring into R&D. It was a complete fake out. That's exactly what happened here. The U.S. government got with Hasbro and they said, you can't put that on there. It's got to be an XMLR.
Oh, really? You're saying this is actually what happened?
Hey, I'm trying to bring some reality to this.
I like it.
And if anybody was going to grab that package and say, look at that. He's got an XMLR laser rifle. Does the U.S. really have that? I mean, everything, like Grunt says M16. This guy says Uzi. And this one says XMLR laser. It was covered under the SDI Star Wars initiative. They called it a laser rifle. It's a caseless 5mm, high volume, sustained fire rifle.
What is a caseless 5mm?
It's an awesome. It's the future. So eventually, most firearms they're probably either going to go caseless. The U.S. military's dream, and someone mentioned it already. The U.S. military's dream is plasma. Trust me.
Okay.
But in the meantime, until we get there, caseless ammunition allows a soldier to carry twice, maybe even 3 times more the amount of ammo because that brass case does not exist. So the caseless ammo is actually shaped like the casing. When it enters the chamber, the only thing that has to leave is the exhaust fumes, which on the print that I made, when you see the ejecting port, which normally the spent casings would come out of, that is a fume extractor. I ran this design by 3 great guys in our group that know their equipment. They're either former military, they've handled weapons, and they're just as proficient as anybody else, and they all greenlit me. And then I ran it past one of my really deep contacts, and he said, this is crazy, I want it. So I buy it, and that's my explanation for the lasers and GI Joe. And, you know, there's only 2 scenes I can think of in the cartoon where you see casing being ejected. That would be in the 86 movie where you see Duke, and then I think it's what is it, episode 1 or 2, and you see casings ejecting from the rifle.
It randomly pops up. I've been watching all the
Okay, so you've seen it more.
You just randomly all of a sudden somebody's ejecting shells. You're like, what the fuck?
Wolfman's correct, and Wolfman actually talked to me about the heat. That's why if you look at the print, the buttstock is filled with oil, and the barrel is recoil operated with a pump like a Lewis gun that will pump oil from the stock to the cooling jacket around the barrel. Okay. It's just like a Lewis gun in that way. So pretty much everything that's on that print is either kind of compiled from real life stuff. The only shit that I made up is the SDI Star Wars Initiative. But that really explains why that would be called an XMLR laser rifle.
Nice. Very cool. All right. Were you a fan of? Would you make this lasers, Destro?
I as a kid, I don't recall. I feel like I gave him Frostbite's gun. Now mind you, I didn't get Snow Job when he came out. I got him later, garage sale, something like that. And then immediately so I had 2 Snowcats. And one of them didn't come with a Frostbite, but it came with his rifle. So one of them went to Snow Job, and the other one went to Lowlight, because Lowlight was just like I would tuck it behind his backpack a little bit and so he'd have 2 different rifles. But I did not go laser like here. Like as much as I respected Flash's what he was for like the laser guy, and I thought that was cool. Sci-fi as well, okay, you're the laser guy, you're awesome. But everything else was mostly, I would always like relate it to shell casings popping.
100%, man. It had to be ballistic for me, and for the longest time I tried thinking like it was like a Kel-Tec where you put a mag in the pistol, but then that don't make sense. Right. You know what I mean? But then the magazine in the foregrip, and then you see the rotating action here, similar to the G11 or P90. You're taking vertical rounds, rotating them into horizontal battery. It makes absolute sense. It absolutely makes sense. Yeah. And I would actually go try and build that rifle right now. Absolutely.
Burn your hair off again, man. Caveman 4207 says GI Joe had sharks with freaking lasers before Dr. Evil. I agree with you. For me, it was all ballistic. Like the 2 guys had lasers, right?
Snake Armor in the cave.
Yep. There were other people that had lasers, like Battle Force 2000.
Yeah.
Sure.
The Laser Viper, of course, Astro Viper. Those guys had lasers.
Yes.
But for the most part, lasers were reserved for the laser guys, and everything else was just a gun. And the cartoon made lasers the thing. That's why I'm not excited. Like, no, they're doing the thing right now where they have like GI Joe has blue lasers, Cobra has red.
I'm not. Yeah, not my thing.
Yeah, I don't care about that. That's stupid.
Now the one thing I will say is that pretty much all U.S. tracers are all red. Warsaw Pack back in the day, they were all green, you know what I mean? So to give Cobra blue tracers, I was kind of cool with. They were never lasers for me. And to add credence to this whole prototype weapon thing, who else would be better suited than a biathlete like Snow Job that can actually, I mean, he doesn't just sit at a range and plink all day. This guy can ski and he can hit a target at 1,000 yards, and then he's skiing, his heart's going, he's under duress, and then he can take a shot, and you're in a cold weather. Who else would I want to give my weapon to test than a cold Arctic soldier that's a biathlete? That's my guy, and that's who I'm putting in there as a prototype weapon. Go test it out, Snow Job.
Didn't like the blue and red laser bolts. I wanted more realism. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, me too.
Well, because everything else that we've seen, like I've realized lately that when I've been talking about this kind of shit and like what affected my headcanon for GI Joe, and like I think Rambo with because he had the M60 and that was always shooting, and it had the belt fed, that sort of shit. You're seeing those casings flying. I feel like all of that stuff really influenced how I looked at GI Joe, even though I knew it was obviously like a different world. But I remember thinking like, oh yeah, no, these are all cased.
So as a kid, for me, that was an M14E, and that was a different type of M14 that actually had a stock, and it's vaguely familiar to that. So until I got Recondo, and Recondo actually had the M14, my favorite rifle ever, then I had to like question them, what is Snow Job's gun? So it's taken me a long time, but I worked out that print, and you guys are all welcome to scrutinize it. Please let me know where I went wrong and let me know where I went right in that.
This makes a lot of sense to see them as tracers. Now, tracers are my understanding is very limited. I mean, I'm not so much a gun guy. I fired a few. I own a couple, but I wouldn't say that I'm like a crazy. But what? So tracer is it sort of like lights it up so you can fire in the dark.
It's a chunk of magnesium on the back of the bullet. When they go to pack the bullet, the powder inside the casing explodes, ignites that little bit of magnesium, and it burns for only maybe a second and a half, 3 seconds, depending on the caliber of the equipment. But it's honestly, tracers are only visible when you're behind the bullet. A lot of people don't know that. You can't go sideways and see tracers very easy, and you sure as hell don't see tracers coming at you. I can promise you that. You'll see them whip by, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
okay.
that burning piece that's on a tracer is actually on the back of the bullet, so you're not going to really see this thing.
What's the idea of the tracer? Why does it exist?
Okay, so the idea of the tracer is comes from old aiming technology where they didn't have great sights, especially going up against aircraft. Tracers really came into their own in World War I when they put them on biplanes and AA guns, because you could actually see where your bullets were going and adjust your aim based on the true beaten zone of where your bullets are going. Not guessing on a sight, not looking and wondering, but you're seeing where the bullets are going, and then you can actually correct and adjust from there. So even when you're a machine gunner and you've got a machine gun pit, you don't really aim at positions. They actually stake range areas out, and you have an oval that's shaped called the beaten zone. That's really what you do, and you're firing the rounds and you're dropping them down. You'll check your tracers and you're adjusting on your tripod and stuff like that. Minute calculations.
Okay, so it's just a way of you can see
where your rounds are landing.
The hair is flowing tonight. Love it. This is from Yojo Reviews. Good friend. Love Snow Job. Love the snowy Midwest. Yeah. We have a lot of snow both.
Yes.
Michael, you feel like
Walter? Good to see you, brother.
Michigan here.
You have some gun knowledge, I feel like. Am I not
right? He does.
Yeah, I know a little. Not
I ran this past him before I started.
Do you go shooting every once in a while, or you?
I'm familiar. I don't have as much time for it, obviously, with kids and because they don't even know that I have anything. I keep them all out in the garage, in the shop, the workshop, and out in the back and everything. My wife's not a fan, so but no. I absolutely love it. I wish when this freaking remodel's over, I can afford to buy some freaking ammunition and probably go and have some fun, because I am definitely due. The one thing I have to get way better with a secondary. I'm trying to think of a good way to say it without actually saying it. It's so much different than shooting. I'm freaking dead eye with any kind of shoulder mounted, but once you start going into the pistols, it's like I don't.
That was a learning curve.
Whole other world. It's a whole other world. Yeah. You go beyond, you go to like 10 yards, and it's you're like, dude, this is even harder than I thought. To try and get something like that. Anyway,
all right, let's get into our next because we're talking Michael's favorite, which is the Alley Viper.
Okay.
As GI Dave said, he would justify that gun. Oh, the image I'm showing you doesn't have his gun.
Doesn't have that. That's
the other one.
Really disappointing. Okay, let me replace that shit.
So I love.
We all know what the gun looks like, right? No, everybody knows.
Yeah.
The Alley Viper's gun is very specific. They've given it to us like 150 times. With they love to give it with us. I am a fan of it. I am always.
I do too.
When it came it makes sense. You don't have to reinvent the wheel to come up with a new rifle for every single soldier. The Desert Scorpion would absolutely use Alley Viper's weapon. So, all right. So what's going on with this thing?
Okay.
You all in the chat, is anybody a fan of this?
When I'm looking at Alley Viper's weapon, I see this ridiculous scope. I'm gonna get past that because I'm really an open sights guy unless I really need a sight. Maybe some sort of aim point or something like that's okay. But I really like my open sight. So I'm going to overlook the scope. It looks like he's got some sort of massive tube on top of that. I'm gonna equate that to they moved the gas mechanism to the top of the rifle, because I don't want to call that a grenade launcher up on top. But the magazine placement is where I really want to talk about, because everybody really seems to hate the magazine placement. Now, if you are an alley viper and you have a shield on your arm, it's mounted on your arm, not the original American Hero, because that had a handle. I never really bought that. It was on his arm. What better way for you to swap out mags than to get behind your shield and be able to manipulate the magazine of your primary weapon just like this, and even right in here, and you're only moving your wrist, and you're covered by the shield. You can look out a little viewports. When the alley viper brings his gun, and all you had to do is put it in your hands and try it. Put the figure in your hands and put it behind a shield and be like, that kind of makes sense like that. You know what I mean? Why would you want to try and cross your rifle up and have your elbow exposed out of your shield to try and swap mags? Alley Viper's coming up like this, and all he's doing is playing like this, swapping mags, and he's got complete coverage behind his shield. Now, when you got Alley Vipers that are doing bounding overwatch, moving in a squad back and forth, these guys are reloading. One guy kneels, swaps a mag. The other guy's pushing on. That is a force. And he's behind cover. He's swapping out his mags, and he's good to go in seconds without exposing his body, and actually kind of turtling up when he changes his mags as well. He could do that out in the open. Not many people want to do that.
I can stare at that figure all day long.
That is
me too, man.
It's so awesome.
And I'd even go so far as to say that the colors, a lot of people complain about the colors. If I was a battlefield commander and I was in a mountain environment and I had blue shirts mixed in with vipers, mixed in with urban meat eaters, I might want them a really radical color so that I can easily identify where my alley vipers are at, so that they've already cleared this block. Now it's time for you guys to go there. Blue shirts, fill in the block they just cleared. So that the colors don't bother me one bit, because that goes back to unit identification and old armies carrying flags. That's how I see it.
They're the city invasion force too. That's their
urban.
purpose.
Yeah, urban.
So what I used them for, my favorite thing to do with them as a kid was Cobra. You'd always have I don't know if anybody did this too. I'm sure you did. Cobra takes over, or Cobra takes over the city, right?
Right.
And then they're the police force almost. They're like, you put them in the middle of that city. They're the ones owning that city. They're kicking down doors. They're keeping rioters down. They're going through the city. So they're almost like you want to know they're there. You know what I mean? It's like
I agree with you 100% in that troop type right there. As soon as he's done his job busting the city and securing Springfield, then his job now becomes, he's the police officer. He's the guy that's going down exactly doing what you do. Dual role troop type, and that's what he's going to do. He is an urban soldier. You take him out in the jungle, you take him out in the woods, he's not going to be as effective. You keep him in the urban environment. After you've taken over Springfield, now he's your cops. Now he's the guy that goes kicks open the doors. You know what I mean? I see it the same way.
Yeah, it's what do you I'm gonna open it up to you, Michael.
Yeah, he was the lead of the invading force, right? It was almost like, even if it wasn't in an urban environment, they were still sending these guys in first. Now that's not as tactical, but it's one of those things where, like to me, it was. I always kind of joked. I still joke about it today, that like that the color was a almost like a mind tactic almost to psych out the other team. Like, instead of trying to hide and be sneaky and then sneak up on you, it's we're alarming you that
is a force.
We're announcing our presence. Let's have this fight. Let's do it now.
That's a force multiplier. By instilling terror in your opponents, that is a force, Mike.
Yeah.
You are absolutely right on, dude. We're in your face. We're not going nowhere. And look at this color. That's a force multiplier.
I looked at him as as far as Cobra troopers or troops went per se, they were right up there. And I always envisioned them being like a personal bodyguard of Major Blood, right? That's where the color, I had conflict with the color, is that Major Blood would never be caught dead wearing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for some reason, I always liked having him, because you're right. As you're saying, it is always about some kind of it is always about like their Cobra's taking over somewhere for to do something, and yeah, they were always an enforcing presence for sure.
They're heavily armored too, so it's like
Yes,
yeah.
I see battle armor. Like their vest is absolutely impressive. I see armor on the shoulders. Even if you look at the classified figure, that figure is armored tough, man. And I'm telling you what, man, some of these armors, some of these personal armors, especially with coupled with a trauma plate, they're awesome. They're awesome, man. I'm telling you. And
So-
only, yeah.
I was just going to say what they did with the classified figure, when they added what I'm pretty sure the Sentry shoulder pad thing is a little different than the right. I don't think the regular one has that. So this is what gave me like a little bit more of this is
Love that one.
The police presence, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously
Yeah.
we were talking about when we were kids, but that's what I'm using these guys for now. I'm going to set up the whole thing where it's going to be an entrance to a Cobra base. These dudes are definitely like, you roll up to the mini pew pew just right there, a guy checking his checking his like your entry pass or whatever. But no, I get serious, especially with the colorways on that one.
100%.
I get serious police vibes on that.
And even it's even to say like why would they need a trench viper and an alley viper? It's really when the alley viper dons the dark uniform, he's the trench viper and he's the cop. He's the same troop, same armor, everything he's used to, but now you're just in a different uniform and you can blend in. You don't have to be so garish in the battlefield for identification purposes and to scare your opponents too.
I desperately wish that Hasbro comes out with a 788 Alley Viper. So because I have a bunch of Crimson Alley Vipers,
cool,
and they look close, but I'd have to like dye them or something black and then add red or something like that because they need to be more.
It's
red.
not quite, yeah.
Ugh, yeah, no, I don't want to have to do that.
We had a request. We had a
788
request in the comments. Can I address something real quick?
I would
Mark?
love that. Yeah, please.
So, one of the I'm sorry, it scrolled past. One of the comments was, can you please talk about Heat Viper's rocket launcher?
Oh God.
one of the things that I was asked to talk about today was the Laser Viper. And if you read the Laser Viper's file card, he does not shoot lasers, direct energy weapons out of those at all. All the Laser Viper does is he is a laser designator strictly for the Heat Viper and designated targets for other Cobra assets, such as laser-guided maggot rounds, laser-guided bombs from the Rattler, other type of laser-guided munitions. You'll have a Laser Viper as your FAC, forward air controller, and that guy is going to be King Cock, and he's going to be able to rain down all the destruction just by looking and pointing a laser. Boom, that goes off because the guys that he is a portable laser designator. He doesn't have weapons. So when you've got a couple Heat Vipers, these Heat Vipers can literally blind fire their rocket over cover. And as long as you got a Laser Viper lasing your target, all of those rounds are going to hit what he's pointing at.
I actually really like. We're funny. We're talking about these two figures. That I thought that the color of the Heat Viper was in this general area of the Alley Viper. Bright.
Yeah.
So so I used to have them together. Also, I did have Frag Vipers back then too. So and they had, for whatever reason, they just all had this color that was close enough, and I definitely enjoyed using them all together.
Frag Viper is one of my all-time favorite Cobra troop types, man.
It's
I tell
crazy.
you, if
We'll
you
get
take
into that in a minute. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
no, yeah.
I had a question. All right, why does he have a grappling hook gun?
You're in an urban situation. You have to be able to get over fences, short buildings, or anything.
Right.
If you're going into urban situation, rope is going to be your friend.
Is there
Seriously.
such thing as a grappling hook gun?
Yeah, absolutely. They use them all the time on ships. They're probably using them right now.
I think they have.
I used to have a number 4 Mark II Enfield that was actually a line firing gun, and you actually put in a certain round. It's basically like a blank. You stick in this long pipe that's got a cable attached to it. You shoot it over to the next ship. Then they get that string, they pull that over, then they'll pull over a thicker rope, and then they pull over a thicker rope. That's how that starts. Grappling guns are the same way.
So this is not something GI Joe.
No, absolutely real. Grappling guns are absolutely real.
I feel like there was something that you could stuff into a M203 that had something similar, like you're talking about, like a blank.
You know what?
There's a whole other like under attachment too that I think that could go on.
You're talking about that, like the days when the civilian grenade launcher hit the scene and cats were making everything, dude. Yes, I remember seeing that. Yes.
Frag Vipers explode. Yeah, let's do the Frag Viper next. Oh, I think we said everything.
Yes! All right.
There we go.
I love that troop type.
I just want to say, because I keep forgetting to even mention this on my own show. If you take a Frag Viper's backpack and put it on Darklon with that hose goes right into this hole on the side of his grenade launcher, and it looks awesome. I meant to take a picture of it and put it on Twitter, but yeah, no, for whatever reason, the backpack looks sized properly, and the hose that comes over, it goes right into the gun. It looks awesome. Yeah,
I'm going to try that. The chat here. So Joe Peacock says, I just have to say this rules. I love that I can hop into a live stream of GI Joe Geeks talking about your literal first GI Joe figure, which I think you said was Alley Viper, right? So awesome. Okay. Serpenter's Lair requests. Tell me that Flak Viper backpack is legit. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Flak Viper?
Asshole says, I'm throwing away all my GI Joe. What do you want to ruin next, Dave? Star Wars or more? How's he ruined it? He's making it cooler, man. I thought he could have ruined it. I think
I can. Trust me. I'm really good at smearing shit. Trust me.
I thought he was going to say none of this makes any sense. It's all fucking stupid.
No, not at all. I'll fight tooth and nail for it. If it's stupid, I'll tell you straight out. Like, there's nothing I can do with it. Yeah, if I analyze it, dude, I'll see it. I'll tell you what I see.
Hate the original Frag Viper. This is Carson from 3D Joe's. Also, did not like the original flag. I love the original flag.
I do too. I do too.
The helmet is so awesome.
Yeah, the original. Now you look at him. When I see a brown suit like that, he is completely covered in a Kevlar-like frag-resistant suit. Okay, because he is going to be experienced to frag all the time. Okay, he's gonna have a short round. He's gonna have some stuff going off. He's got a metal helmet. He's pretty much protected against small metal bits and frag. Okay, so that's done. Now his weapon. How did you say that again, Mark? You spelled it. I want to hear you say it.
Highlight.
Okay, highlight.
It's highlight, and here's how I know. Here's how I know. You want to know how I know?
Yeah.
The reason this exists is because in Rhode Island, in Newport, there's a highlight is like a very active sport. You go and you would bet and you would watch it, and they have the baskets.
That's right.
And they bounce, and I live in Rhode Island, and GI Joe is made in Rhode Island. So the guys who designed the Frag Viper went to that Newport highlight thing, which is very weird, very random. I don't even know why it exists. And they saw it, and they were like, "Let's do that." So that's how I know. But I forget what the basket's called. Somebody has. Hear me out.
Yeah. So we see the Frag Viper has a personal SMG. Okay, did you say it's a GI? Am I saying that right?
No, sorry, Highlight.
Highlight. Okay, so it's Highlight.
Yeah.
So it's Highlight. Now picture that if you've got your backpack. Now I remember my Frag Viper had a backpack, and I want to say it had 3 grenades with spoons on the top. Those are different. The grenades that are going to be in the backpack are going to be balls. If you can feed that with a conveyor type system, which could be possible, to this Highlight, then is what you've got is just like the OICW from the 80s. That guy can say, now at the top of the Highlight, that's not a weapon. That's a laser rangefinder. So is what he does is you've got an in-place Joe position, 100 yards out. He points the Highlight at it, hits a trigger, finds out it's 100 yards out. Then he hits a button inside, add 5 meters, and starts whipping these things out, creating airburst grenades. Or he can subtract, or he can add, just like the OICW. You fuse on the fly with an RFID chip. These guys are flinging grenades silently. They're whipping them. What is that, like 200 miles an hour? These guys could whip those things 200 miles an hour, whatever it was. Range, possibly out to 200 yards silently. And if you've got enough of these guys, you don't need to be that accurate. If you've got a squad of 4 of these guys and they're constantly lobbing frag, there's not going to be too many heads up that are throwing lead back at you. Then at that point, you've created the powerful force and you can advance your troops. These guys, frag vipers, are absolutely awesome because what they do is they diminish the enemy fire to where they put their heads down to allow vipers and blue shirts to advance.
Like you said too, if you got 4 different guys, it's like there's something the enemy can't predict at all. Is where and when. You got 4 guys doing it at different intervals and
silently. You're not hearing that thump. Oh, look out!
Right.
You're not.
It's right here. I'll run over here because you never know. If one just landed here, another one may land there.
With infusing it on the fly, okay. So let's say that he can make it for air burst, or he can say, you know what, I'm going to put this on 2 seconds after impact. So when it lands on the ground, it counts 2 seconds and detonates. Or I'm going to fuse this for impact only and just start flinging them. And every time it hits the ground, it explodes. That's the best damn grenade I've ever heard of. And I want that. I want to make that in my garage. Like now. Like, that's awesome. You know?
It's crazy. What I love about him is now in the original, it looked like it had like a claw on it. So
yes.
He's in like a fight, a fist fight.
Like a melee situation still would work.
Yeah, he's clawing at you with that shit. I know you said the thing on the front is a laser. I liked it being a machine gun.
Sure.
Because you just aim it.
And I think that's kind of what it was in canon.
Probably. But no, I like what you said. Yeah, it's interesting.
It's funny you say the claw thing. I can remember having it like on Vamp and that was what it was. The bridge layer. They would all be assaulting the bridge layer and they would run over with that thing and it used to wreck the tracks, right? Like it was some kind of special metal and it would wreck the tracks on the bridge layer. Yeah, I love the Frag Vipers, man. They got lots of
bridge layer. Frag Vipers are still one of my favorite troop types of all time, though. For Cobra, they're fantastic.
So unique.
Yes.
I think they crushed it too with class.
I got a couple Frag Vipers, and then I got like, I think it's like 2 or 3 of them without the sash, and then the squad lead's got a sash.
Exactly, yeah. That was a good decision they made to make the sash.
Yes, dude. That's one of my more favorite classified figures. They really did a bang-up job with that one.
It's awesome. It's really awesome. I enjoy it. And it also looks good. They're even more paired with the Alley Viper now. The colors are even say. And you know what else looks really good together too? Are the first version Mole Rats and the Frag Vipers? They're really close in color and they look stellar together.
I think they're are the androids. There's some sort of enhanced human in the new classified. I never understood that one personally because I don't think
I like to think it's a man in there. I like to think it's a man. Every time I take the helmet off, I can't unsee Peter from RoboCop. And he's got skin, not that it's bad. And I remember them teasing it like, "Oh, we got something special for Frag Viper when you take the helmet off." And I was like, I was hoping it was going to be like, I don't know, somebody cool, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's
Rockstar or something. Not that, but
yeah, they did make it so he's like an enhanced human.
Yes,
thought would be that he would need to be enhanced to hurl the. I don't see that.
So okay. So let's.
The official classified series says the modern 6-inch figure lines heavily into the sci-fi elements of the franchise, leaning into the idea that they are cyborgs. The lore and figure details suggest they were originally human but underwent extensive cybernetic and genetic alterations to survive the brutal physical demands of throwing heavy explosive constantly in combat.
They're not heavy explosives. It's a baseball.
No, it's a grenade.
You know what though? The type of explosives that they could be dealing with now is not just TNT. Like, they have many different compounds that, like, something like sticks of dynamite, like you see in the cartoons, now can be the same amount of power as something like that. RDXs and things like that.
But so it's not heavy.
Yeah, just because it's small doesn't mean it doesn't really have to have a decent size explosion.
But it's not heavy. It's not like a heavy thing to throw.
Well, it's if you look at the backpack, you see grenades with a serrated edge. So that tells me it's a cast piece of metal that's got serrations on it. So the grenade body is metal. If it's the size of a baseball and metal, that's what, 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. You're really flinging that thing, man.
And you're gonna have, if you have like hundreds of them on your back,
and your arm is going to be like dislocated, sore as hell. You know, you're going to be at the Cobra bar, pouring it away later. You know,
better shape.
Yeah. I pitched 3 innings of softball at the coaches versus coaches game last week, and my arm hurts.
Dude, didn't you hit the home run? You hit the home run that won it.
I had 2 home runs. 2.
Nice.
Yeah,
you, man.
I actually had myself a game for sure. I was shocked.
I've seen that.
I usually do pretty well, but this year was different. We came down to the wire. There was a guy on my team, Brian, scored, and then but they called him out, and so then we went to extra innings, and it was a lot. We were all having a good. It was a good time. It's definitely fun, but I wish I could do stuff like that more often.
All right, well, here's another good one to get into. Billy Boy Toys, next gen Android. Brandon R8269 says next gen Android troops because these days bats look a little obsolete. Well, let's talk about the bats then.
Yeah. All right, so let's hear it from the layman.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously we're seeing these things now, right? And
let's take it from the perspective from when you seen this thing first, the first time you seen that thing, because I remember the first time I seen that thing.
Well, I thought it's one of my favorite figures of all time.
Yeah,
hands down, one of my absolute favorite figures of all time. But for me, it's the file cards. The fact that it's like it's not a very smart thing, which is good. You don't want them to have AI.
Dangerous as fuck.
They're totally dangerous.
Yeah, they shoot your own guys.
Yeah, they shoot your own guys. They don't know what they're doing. They light on fire if you hit them from behind. Like all that lore made them really exciting to me. And then the hands. My favorite was the claw hand, just for ripping through flash.
The comics did such a good job of showing some of those hands and things like that, man. The one thing the comic did not do well that I really hated was when I believe it was Baroness or whatever, or somebody during the Battle of Cobra Island, they dumped like a bunch of bats out the back of a helicopter, and they're like, "Oh, they're fine. They'll just crawl to their target." And it's like, how much money did you spend on them? And you're just kicking them out of helicopter?
The episode, All My Favorite Things, where Serpentor, in the very beginning, Serpentor sends a bat to go get a painting, and the bat like comes out of a night suit, grabs a painting, he jumps out the window, and then there's an then there's a Night Raven drone that they send down the drone, and it opens up to catch the bat, but the bat misses, so he throws the picture, dude. But then the bat hits, and Serpentor's like, they're like, "Oh, we'll go back for the drone." Serpentor's like, "No, I can walk home."
Yep, that's right. Yeah. And so when I look at the bat, this is where 86, right? So in 1986, we had I seen the Terminator in the theater, man, and I tell you what, that was mind blowing. So when I first seen the bat, this was exactly what that was for me. It gave them, the cartoon guys and the comic writers, something for us to kill and destroy on screen and brutally mutilate. Sergeant Slaughter can rip them in half. That was awesome. But then the cyborg, well, not cyborg, it's an android element to it, that a fully autonomous battle robot is going to be walking towards you. Now, in the 86, this was so Buck Rogers to us that like we just watched the Terminator. It's like, yeah, that's cool. They have no realization that it's coming. When I look at the bat now, I can see your primary body frame is going to be your weapon system. The backpack is really your replaceable battery, okay? So in the 80s, if Cobra's and Destro's dealing in the most best batteries, let's say they're lipo type batteries or something like that, you might be able to give these bats, as long as they're not shooting lasers. Yeah, I know he comes with a laser, but the laser's going to drain his battlefield time real quick.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to move fast. He's going to have to do his job because he's got X amount of time. And the more he exerts strength, the more battery time that he takes. Now, the one variable that would change everything with bats all across the world is if Cobra actually got the broadcast energy transmitter for these guys. Now that I buy, because then you can take the backpack off and you can literally have legions of these guys walking without a connected power source anywhere you want, effortlessly, wirelessly, and autonomously taking care of whatever you tell them to do. You know, that to me, the broadcast energy transmitter is key to the bats. You know what I mean? Like the Cobra Law thing, that was cool for the movie, whatever. Not my thing. But if I was going to have a broadcast energy transmitter in the GI Joe universe, Cobra would absolutely want that to be able to field these. That's why, because they're limited by the batteries they carry. The bat, you want to fire a laser, that's fine, but you're going to take out a quarter of your lifespan on the battlefield.
Yeah, the laser arm was always the lamest, and I never got that one. I was like, just put a machine gun on him, or just have him carry a machine. I always gave him a gun. You know, he always has a gun in his hand. Frankly, I don't know. What about you?
I love the first comic that showed Lady J with the minivan. Remember when minivans were big and they were like this new wedge-shaped van they do a wheelie off of? And those guys had AKs. Like my bats, I gave all my Cobra Officer AKs and the accessory pack AKs. All my bats had AKs after that comic. It was just that was where it was at for me. I didn't like the laser on a bat.
Nah, lasers.
But that clock fit right around at Joe's neck. Perfect, let me tell you.
Yeah, and that flamethrower was pretty badass too.
Oh, dude, flamethrower is the coolest weapon humanity's ever designed.
Why? All right, speak to me about flamethrowers for a minute.
Yeah, I want to build one. Like I got a couple ideas of really cool ones. But what would you like to know about flamethrowers?
What do you do with a flamethrower that doesn't just destroy and kill everything in its wake? Basically, that's what you do.
Well, I think there's kind of a difference, I think, between a flamethrower and a blowtorch. Most people, like, some people think there's, one actually shoots fuel that gets on you and then you're on fire because the liquid is on you, as opposed to a blowtorch is just actual flame. Right.
Well, that's true. And that's actually, it depends on believe it or not, there's actually different types of ammunition that flamethrowers can use. They can use a really heavy naphtha type base napalm type thing, or they use a lighter. Like in World War II, they were absolutely fantastic with this. And they had to be because of the environment they were in. So they had tanks, dedicated flamethrower tanks. And then they also had dedicated flamethrower troopers, right? And I actually got to meet one. And when I was a tradesman,
was he an ice cream soldier?
I wish, dude. I want an ice cream soldier now, man. He's kind of dope looking now. But like a U.S. flamethrower, I actually got to see one in use at the Thunder Over Michigan air show. And their big thing was we're going to actually bring the real U.S. military flamethrower with the real equipment and the real fuel, and you're going to see how it works. And my friend, let me tell you, I was about 150 yards away, and there was a hay bale and a flame gunner, and when he cooked that thing off, it was like the sun was right here on my face, okay? And that's 150 yards away, man. I can't imagine what these guys that actually operate a flamethrower went through in like back then. You look at blowtorch, protected well. Charbroil, protected well. U.S. Marine in World War II, that poor son of man, I feel bad. The stink that came from it, man. It wasn't even victory.
And they basically walked around with a bomb on their back that all the enemy would just have to shoot that shit and fucking your whole body explodes.
No, there's some truth to that, and there's some not, because two tanks on a U.S. standard M2 flamethrower, there's two tanks which contain your propellant. The middle tank is actually your pressure tank. So unless you actually hit those fuel tanks with a tracer round with burning magnesium in the back and get the roll the dice. And you get 12s, you could ignite that, right? If you hit the pressure vessel, which would mean a center mass hit, and then it goes out the back and hits the pressure tank, that's probably going to be a little bit more devastating than actually hitting the fuel tank. Because that I see you hitting the fuel tank, and you just you're going to lay there and it's going to leak out. But you hit that pressure vessel in the middle of the tank, that's where that's where you get into like poof, you know what I mean?
Cookstar says no visible external tanks. How long does a bat flamethrower last? Now it does have a tank on the back of the backpack.
It does, yeah. Yeah, it does. And if you look at the back of the backpack, it does seem like they said, you know what, I want to put a tank on this backpack, and it's also a power source because there's like gauges, there's like other things to it. So for me, I always thought like, and I used to have like Sergeant Slaughter or some of my Joes, like low light would snipe a backpack off a bat and it would face forward, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Sergeant Slaughter ripping backpacks off of bats. That was how you unplugged them, you know what I mean? So that was just my mentality, is like the backpack was life for the bat. But if you got the broadcast energy transmitter, all you need's an antenna, baby.
Although, let me now that I think about it, I'm trying to remember it. I'm trying to find a picture of it. In the bat, in the new classified one, definitely has a gas tank on it, but maybe the original didn't. And I feel like I should know that, but I can't.
I want to say that, like, as a kid, I remember looking at the original backpack, saying I bought the flamethrower, and I know that I loved it as an energy source. I've got classified bats here somewhere. If you want me,
I know the classified one without a doubt has a gas tank on it. Yeah, no, that's classified. Yeah. Sorry, I spoke. The original did not have a gas tank on it. The classified one does.
Serpentor's lair, just like cluster bombs are used regularly. Yeah. Yeah, we are some devious things, man. We really are.
Nice. All right. Okay. Oh, what are your thoughts on the bat there, Destro?
Oh, well, the bat, I loved it. That was from the minute it came out. It was for the huge reason of, as you guys were mentioning, that they could destroy them. That was huge. It changed the cartoon.
That's why they exploded when shot in the back. Look at Steven Johansson.
Yeah,
I like that.
Right. That fuel has to come from somewhere.
Hey, man, what happens to an EV when that battery cooks off, dude? You don't want to be nothing near it, right?
So I had, and I can't remember for the life of me, I had something that attached to the arm that I don't remember what line of toys I got it from. I don't think it definitely was not GI Joe. I have
Did it rhyme with fleshlight?
No, it connected to the actual bat arm and was a kind of a weapon. I think, and I can't remember what it was. It wasn't supposed to be there. I think it was something broken that had just enough of a piece to like click it on, and it just stayed. And I remember using that forever. But no, very, very cool. It looks like, I mean, this is also right at the time that we got the Terminator, right? Remember, so you could be, I remember seeing these and being like, oh yeah, the robotics of it all works. They can just take their hand off and put the new thing on it.
And as a kid, I was such an asshole. None of you guys would have wanted to play with me, man, because I had to do the tactics and stuff, and I wouldn't buy repaints and like if it didn't go to the bat, I wouldn't use it. I wish I had that creativity that I had now back as a kid, because I would have been unscrewing my figures and swapping, making customs and doing all that stuff. Find out what can fit onto a bat's arm, you know what I mean? So for me, I was very rigid as a kid, and it was like, no, that these are my bat's parts. But now, like Mike said, dude, that lance fits on there. Oh, put him on a bike. You know what I mean?
Right. I do like specific stuff, but yeah, if it fits and it works and it looks good,
it's awesome, man.
Yeah. What about so? What's this? Boston Dynamics doing these yet for combat? What's the reality of bats coming into combat?
I will. I'll say this to you, Mark Fogarty. If you're gonna have any type of after show or something like that, from what I understand, the after shows are not recorded. Is that correct?
I don't have an after show. That
some of the stuff I will not talk about that I've seen on a recorded platform. But like an after show, if you want, I can talk about that. But in 16 and 17, I was at Advanced Weapons Displays, and I seen stuff that would knock your socks off. The stuff that's deployed overseas right now, like, I don't know if a lot of you guys realize this, but just last year, you had the first battle in human history where no humans were actually on the battlefield. And I seen that stuff when it was being built. And some of the designers were old enough, they called them pack rats. And I gelled with these cats, and we're joking back and forth. So GI Customs, I ordered some pack rats from them. And he's been swamped from getting ready for Joe Fest. So I'm still waiting for the pack rats. But one pack rat in particular is absolutely so real that if you want to have an after discussion one time and you want to dig into some of the stuff that I've seen, by all means, dude, I will tell you all about this thing. And that's 10 years ago, man. So 10 years ago now means that what I seen 10 years ago is 50 years out of date.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Crazy.
And that's the truth, unfortunately. That and all you have to do is look no further, because everyone on this broadcast seen the biggest military prototype leak ever seen by humanity, and that was during the Osama bin Laden raid when a stealth Black Hawk crashed and the tail boom fell over that wall. When I seen those pictures and I seen that tail boom, I knew immediately that what I was looking at was not anything that I've ever seen documented in anything. And it went, 15 years before they started telling us the truth? So 15 years ago almost, they had stealth Blackhawks with whisper mode, like in Blue Thunder, with a low radar signature profile. Dude, don't tell me none of this GI Joe stuff can't be real. Because it absolutely is. Because the stuff you think we got, it's probably being replaced.
Nice. All right. Is this real? Can you explain this one to me here? All right, let's go.
Yeah, my man.
What was your? We'll have our layman talk.
Yeah,
first.
hit it.
What were your thoughts on this guy, Destro? Are you a fan?
Yes, no, I loved Repeater. I actually still have my original Repeater. So I lost all my Joes, but I had one bag somehow survived that was in a box, and Repeater was one of them. Now, to me, it was always he was just part of the Team Aliens, right? Like, he's a Joe, but he was Team Aliens. He had the same
he was Drake, dude.
Yeah, the gimbal system or whatever they call it. It was exactly like the aliens. That's where he got it from. He just happens to be down here fighting on Earth. And like, I never tried to join the two universes, but to me, that's what I always said about Repeater, was like, oh yeah, no, he did a tour and he brought the gun backs, and now he's with the Joes.
Dude,
so,
hey,
awesome,
he was
awesome figure.
That was me too. What about you, Mark?
I love this figure. Yeah, he was
Me too.
I was a big fan of this one. Big Aliens fan at the time, you know, but it also makes sense. I think, like, basically the gist is it's like a movie camera gimbal that James Cameron invented to put a laser gun on. So it's something they were using as a steady cam, and he added it to the laser gun.
Yep.
But does it have a purpose?
The smart gun was actually not a laser. The smart gun was not a laser. That was a caseless smart gun, actually. I actually have documents.
Oh, yeah. Did I say laser? I don't even remember.
I have detailed files.
Of, sorry, the
alien stuff. Yeah, I'm into the alien shit.
But yeah, what's your take on this one?
First of all, like what Mike said, you've got your original Repeater. The only Joe that I have from my childhood is Spirit, and he's still got his belt. Nice. And his gun. I don't have a backpack or Freedom, but believe it or not, I found this in an Indian in the cupboard VHS tape, and my mom must have put in there. So this is the only Joe that I've got from my childhood. As for Repeater, this cat, I love his file card because everything about it talks about the core values of a machine gunner: suppression, taking care of your team, making sure that everybody's taken care of with being under fire. That is the core job of a machine gunner, because as soon as you light up, you let everybody know who you are. The only problem I've got with Repeater, and now mind you, Repeater's probably in my top 3 wants of classified. I love this figure. The only problem we've got is he has absolutely no sighting system. Now, if he can bring the steady cam up and he can use it as a sight, like I think we've seen in the comics, I believe we've seen in the comics where Repeater's holding his weapon up a little bit higher. I can shoot steep from the hip. I can shoot pretty good from the hip. But when you're in any type of situation where you need to hit your target, you don't fire from the hip. Okay. So
yeah, that's a good point.
So the idea of this guy firing from the hip tells me that he is strictly dealing in suppressing targets. He is just building a volume of fire to get people's heads down, to increase his troops' expectations to be able to get over the mount and throw grenades at the bad guys, right? So the other thing about it is the toy Repeater's gun was designed for an ammo belt. We all know it. I see it. It's got a pass through. His backpack looks like an ammo can, but we didn't get an ammo belt. All we got was a power cord. So when we look on the card art and we see a power cord, part of me says that that's a servo electric driven type of machine gun. And if it's servo aided, so he doesn't really have to carry about the weight, right? He doesn't have to worry about the weight of it. All he has to do is about where he's pointing it. Doesn't solve the ammo problem. If you solve the ammo problem with Repeater, I am so in. I'm so in, okay? But right now, all we have is looks like an old 80s telephone cord dangling off the bottom.
Yeah.
That's actually a starter for a Chevy 350 on the bottom, and it goes to his backpack, which is a bedroll. That shit don't make sense. So if you can give me an ammo feed, you can give me an ammo can, and you can tell me that those servos are powered and takes the weight off of that machine gun for him, that would be one of the most effective machine guns that you would want in a mobile squad situation. Not sitting sustained fire with a tripod, but I'm talking about a group of meat eaters that instead of carrying a 240 Bravo or 240 Gulf or a Saw, this guy carries that, and it's stabilized. It's motorized. It's weightless to him. The volume of fire, the accuracy, the hate that he can lay down is unrivaled. The only guy that compares to that's Roadblock, and that's just out of the fear of the 50, man.
Let me address some of these chats. The government is run by live vipers. Just saying, very good point. Billy Boy's Toys. Never had him as a kid. In my 20s, I had a large vintage GI Joe collection, but your wife stole it during your divorce. Never. Oh. Ouch, dude. Divorce sucks, man. My ex was not that bad to me, but sorry.
If that's all she got away with, you got good.
Wow. Don't know the guy in the middle. The guy in the middle is the whole show tonight. Here, he's bringing the knowledge.
Hey, Mark, once again, and Mike, thank you very much for having me. I thoroughly enjoy these. I really do.
Yeah, this is great.
And your idea of doing Dreadnought weapons next, I tell you what, that's actually an entirely unique subject.
Yeah.
Because that's ad hoc weapons, stuff that I would build in my garage.
Yeah, we're going to talk next time we have GI Dave on, we're going to talk Dreadnought weapons.
Nice.
So
your favorite thing, the axe chopper? The axe chopper? I know you loved it, dude. I know you love that one.
Yeah, I enjoy that chainsaw. Buzzer's chainsaw is dope. I think that's great. Diamonds, baby. Yeah.
They explain it.
All right, now explain this guy, because this guy's freaking stupid as shit. That's my take.
No.
And Michael,
he's not stupid at all.
All right.
No.
Oh, why is he wearing yellow and blue?
No, look, man. No, look.
What is that robot doing?
This guy is EOD, okay? He's EOD. You gotta color him. You gotta color him and let him know that everybody knows that where he's going, shit's about to pop off, right?
Yeah.
Now that red thing right there, that to me, he might have had 20 of, and he could guide those things like drones, like what we're seeing at a drone, drive it right to a tank, bang, drive it right to a tank, bang. He was the EOD. Now the handle thing that he's wearing, what I see, he's got a helmet, like that. Tripwire, he's already a couple years past. We need to replace Tripwire. He's aged out. He didn't pass his physical. We know that. Come on. You've read the comics. He didn't pass his second physical. Tripwire aged out. We got Lightfoot. What Lightfoot's equipped with is ground penetrating radar directly input into his helmet to where instead of him having to bayonet or dig or sweep for a mine, he can take his ground penetrating radar and sweep the battlefield out to 50 meters and tell you exactly if there's mines anywhere or whatever. And he can even send a runner out to tag them. Just like that. Holding his ground penetrating radar just like that. And he scans for mines. Nope, this area is clear. This road's clear. Let's move on. Gets back in the truck, drives. Or he could be in the front of a truck holding his ground penetrating radar, visible through his helmet. Mines ahead. Stop the truck. And then get out. And he's EOD. He's got the skills to get out and defuse the mine and take care of it.
All right, nice. Okay, all right.
Actually, the recoil, Serpentor's Lair recoil was called for.
Oh yeah, okay, recoil. Yeah. So Serpentor, we're gonna get into him next. Serpentor's Lair. Can you explain the dual gun that comes with the recoil? Yeah, and why it's blue. Haven't understand that one since it was 11. All right, yeah. So you've been a big fan of Lightfoot. So tell us about your love of Lightfoot there, Mike.
Yeah, I was sucker for accessories, right? Now, even as a kid, one thing I did, I was like, why would he have 3 grenades like right next to his face, like right there? It seems like I know you could definitely have them on like a chest rig or something, but as an explosives guy, it just seemed, as a guy trying to find the explosive, it just seemed weird having those there. But besides that, I loved the dude. I loved his little red thing. So I had the that handle doing something very similar, but it was like controlling the drone. He was able to like move the drone like a video game sort of thing, and and the drone is what got into the ground. This dude was super cool because he had a hologram on his backpack.
And the holograms were
and on the front of the drone. I love the shape of the helmet. I love the shape of the helmet.
Me too, man.
I would have taken a darker color. I would have taken the green. I think he would look completely different if that helmet was like the same green that's on the outside of his chest rig. If that helmet was that color, he'd look different. But 100%. No, him and Airtight were best bros. Like I love all the specialist guys, but him and Airtight, they both had that yellow. They were definitely like fist pumping as they were getting the bad shit out.
They might not have even liked each other. They just hung out because of what they wore.
They're in the same unit, you know. It's the same thing with like the Frag Vipers and the Alley Vipers. They don't know each other, but they're just badass. And, Orange Brigade. Here we go. But no, the yellow on this is very similar to Airtight. I loved Airtight.
If I were to say anything about the 3 grenades in his chest, if he walks up to a single IED or mine, then he's got a simple way to get rid of it, and he's got 3 on his chest.
For sure.
Very interesting. Okay.
Right. His own mine clearing device, but he's just using explosives.
Yeah. No reason to dig this out, boys. I got it in 5 seconds. Back up. That one's done. Push on.
I don't know. One thing that always this is very interesting. So forever, I thought Beachhead's backpack, there's that thing on the side. When I was a kid, I thought it was an RPG head. Hook. So it definitely looks like a grappling hook because it's got the cord. Well, just another jerk brought up one day that it actually looks a lot like a mine clearing device. This is what made me think of it. So if you look up, it's all on a head on a rope. When I Googled it, I saw it. The one dude was holding it like this, and you throw it out, and then when you drag it back, it like opens up and disturbs the sand around it, so you could throw it.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
That was crazy. I couldn't freaking believe it. My mind fucking exploded.
That's good, man. Just another jerk. He's a badass, man. He's so smart, man. I like that a lot. And as I've always taken Beachhead's backpack thing as a grappling hook, but for him to sneak in as a Ranger, U.S. Army Ranger, that's not a bad thing. The only other thing that I would add is U.S. Army Rangers are absolutely tied to the rope and grappling hook, man.
Yeah, I mean, it seems more like it, but I couldn't believe it when I Googled it. The two pictures.
No, he's not wrong.
I was like, holy shit, that looks pretty close.
Oh, that picture, man. Okay, I'll do my best. Okay.
I love recoil.
All right, you want to lay me in it first?
No, it's fucking stupid.
I hope everybody's having fun in the chat. I
love this guy. He was badass.
I do too.
He's got.
This was one of my last shows that I ever got.
he looks like a badass. He's got that M16 with a grenade launcher.
No, you're right. That's an M16 203 combo with the vented barrel, but the bayonet is so wrong. But I'm gonna go with it because this guy's so gangster. He duct taped it
for sure.
Yeah. So why is it wrong? Because it should be under the barrel, but you
That's
can't.
right. The bayonet lug is under the barrel. I don't know how he did that, but
he's got a grenade launcher, so that you wouldn't want that necessarily, right?
Yeah, and so if you put a 203 on your M16, you can't have a bayonet. So this cat is so gangster that he still wanted a bayonet and he duct taped the shit to it. I like that guy. There's spirit there.
He's part of the LRRP, and so when you're going through the bush, bang, you want to poke at it.
That's
right, man.
I love the pack with the twine on it and shit. That's
So he's now look at him. He is kitted out perfect. He's got a radio. He's got mags all over him. You don't see that a lot in early GI Joes, but I'm counting 6 mags right now that are on his web gear. He's got claymores for setting up his retreat from doing recon. He's got his M203 with inverted bayonet, and then he's got a stupid. I got nothing. That thing right there is straight out of Battle Force 2000. Like I want to say, like you look at the card art and it looks like he's got a nice wire grip going under his wrist, and it's like, okay, I buy that. But then that bottom thing looks like it hinges down, and I'm like, okay, so that's a grenade launcher. But then you look at the card art again, that is not a 40 mil. It's another gun.
It's something else. Right.
Yeah, so if you would have gave me recoil with the claymores, the backpack, the 203, and left that hunk of shit out, he would have been way cooler to me. Because even as a kid, I hated that gun, and I asked myself, like, who in the hell really decided it was a good idea to paint these guns blue? Because that's really one of the best guns in the whole American Hero line. That AR right there with the 203 is fantastic.
It's a good one. I love his uniform. I think the colors, the uniform was it for me. And he definitely looks like a badass with the shades.
And I know Fogarty's favorite part, he's got that quarter zip going down to the chest there.
Yeah. I had him.
Man, he's totally badass, but that gun is so we broke you, J.I. Dave. Not broke you, but the only thing you couldn't find a good excuse for is his stupid ass gun.
It's a good hill to die.
I'm you know what? There's a point where like the stupid is stupid, and if you want me to try and explain stupid, I will. But it comes to a point where like we got a figure, we got a claymore pack, we got a radio pack with extra gear, we got a 203. Everything makes sense. What is that? And I can't ignore that because it's nothing.
Yeah. I feel like you wouldn't be able to fire it very well.
No.
It's like one gun. It's like almost like the idea is you fire. Here's my thought on how you used it. You have 2 guns at the same time. You got a machine gun and you got the shotgun, it looks like, on the bottom.
Okay, so it's a shotgun. Okay, I looked at
maybe
it.
That bar down there, it seems like maybe it would like connect or something, right? Like you're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
And hello, Operative D, by the way. And yes, this show is every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, so you have the 2 guns. So he's got the 2 guns. It's kind of fun. But yeah, it feels like knowing and having fired a couple guns, it just wouldn't.
No,
your aim is going to suck.
Oh my gosh, is your aim going to come? Look, dude, your aim is going to suck to a level where this guy should just set it down, man. Like, no, there's a point to which, like, that gun right there should have been saved for Battle Force 2000, and we all would have been like, fine, because recoil would have came with those 3 pieces of accessories, and we all would have been like, recoil is one of the best of the lines, you know what I mean? And he's awesome, but that weird ass gun right there, I got nothing to do for you, man. I can't. It's dumb. It doesn't make any sense. And I know for myself, I am going to be way more combat effective with that AR and 203 than trying to akimbo this Edward Scissorhands thing. Oh, he just hit me with the road.
Now we're talking.
Operative G says Rock and Roll's version 2 machine guns make more sense than this gun.
Yeah.
Do they? Do they really?
Yeah, I get so. You gave me your list, Mark, and I made paper notes because I'm old school, you know what I mean. So I started drawing some stuff down. Rock and Roll V2. Now, I loved this figure. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm out of turn. We need layman's first.
Yeah. Let's do that. Yeah, that is kind of fun. Michael, what was your take on this guy?
One of my all-timer figures. Like these weapons, I love them. I knew it was silly. Like at least of all the power, to hold it up, let alone fire it in a controllable way. I knew it was ridiculous, but I didn't care. I thought the figure himself was actually really cool, but the weapon system was forget about it, man. I absolutely loved it. And although it is one of those GI Joe weapons where you go, all right, it's probably weighs too much, but at the same time, when you look at it, it's all he's holding it. There's a trigger. It's there. It's all there. It can happen. Let's make it work. But yeah, I loved it.
Jesse Ventura and Predator, man.
Right.
Times 2. Here's my take.
Times 4.
What's that? Times
4.
What's dumber, the Gatling guns or the fact that he has a rifle strapped to his leg?
Dude, that Winchester lever action, dude. That to me is your backup weapon because he's going to run these things dry so fast, and Rock and Roll's good with that thing. I know. Look, I got Cletus Cobra had shown me his Golden Boy, and when we were talking about the M1982A1, I want a Golden Boy now. Lever action is one of the finest rifles America has ever produced. And for him to carry one strapped to his leg tells me that he means business when he runs that dry. The problem with Rock and Roll V2 is even if we're talking like modern miniguns, and that's going to be a 5.56, you're talking 4 barrels, and let's just say we're going 1,200 rounds a minute, 4 barrels. You've got a good solid ammo pack on the back. You've only got a second and a half to 2 seconds of sustained fire with that. 4 guns. So when I was a kid, I always disconnected one. I loved the stock. I liked the scope on top. That was a laser pointer for me, for him to just like point at stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And
throw lead, And then when he got done, went like in Predator, when Max said, "I dumped it, full pack." So he would dump his ammo, and then he would dump his gun, and then he was down to his lever action. And he's got the ammo around his hat to be effective with it.
Yeah.
So Rock and Roll.
Okay. It's the rifle. That's the fact that the rifle's strapped to his leg. Can you strap?
I love it, dude. I'm telling you, man.
Right.
It's just like the Night Viper.
I disliked it.
I like. There's a level of like the Night Viper that a lot of people may not understand is when you're doing a tactical insertion, you're moving limbs, you're moving things. You need 2 hands to be quiet, and to be ability to be able to slap your carbine on the side of your leg to move this stuff to get into position is so important, because I don't want to sling that weapon every time. Yes, it comes with a sling. I don't want to sling it every time. I want it battle ready, so I can slap it on the side of my leg and I can move some bushes. I can hold it. I can hold this one. My squad can push through. They can grab the next branches. They can slap the rifle to their leg, and we are silent. The Night Vipers, I see them completely different. When they kitted it out with a sniper rifle, that was wrong. Those guys should have had carbines just like the original, because Night Vipers get close and they slaughter you before you wake up. They're
good point. They're not really snipers. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. You're gonna ask Dave to explain Interrogator's anal probe. I felt like the anal probe. Yeah, Interrogator has that weird like daiquiri.
Interrogator, the chicken scratchers.
It's that's it's an anal probe.
The interrogator is the torturer. Cobra's he came with the like
I was thinking the dictator.
The
with
helicopter.
chicken
he came with the
scratchers.
plane. No, I'm sorry, the helicopter that you like
Yeah.
pull the ripcord, and he had like a machine gun that had a daiquiri blender / anal probe on the end of it.
That's so
All right,
funny.
well, explain this guy to me then, okay? Because this is
Yeah, now we're talking. Now this is real. This is real, absolutely real. Now,
wait, radar dishes on your
okay, so let's hear the layman's first, right?
Well, okay, so here's my take, and I'll let you. My take is, I don't know why he's radar dishes on his elbows. That makes no sense to me. The little thing that he has on the bottom, it plays a really annoying song, like "Baby, don't hurt me no more," like 1,000 times. So if you're in a like hostage situation, you need to drive somebody insane.
You're tracking.
You're blasting just the most annoying shit, like Darude's Sandstorm or something, and just like blasting that shit until the person goes insane. That's my take. Mike, what's your take?
I absolutely love this dude for sure. Now the radar dishes on his wrist, I kind of looked the other way, right? I knew that I was like, it did make sense to me, but I didn't want to hate it because for whatever reason, I just love the rest of the figure. It just was one of those things because, dude, that's hilarious what you're talking about. But I didn't have it playing music, but I definitely had it as like a if he got close enough with that thing, it would emit a sound that would make, the Cobras drop their weapons or whatever, or some kind of momentary. But I also used it as like a subsonic sound that could like vibrate, like one of them low tones that could vibrate the bolts out of a his tank or smash a certain bit of glass or something like that. So he used it as a weapon that way. But I don't know. I love the figure. I thought he looked cool. The card art is a little strange. It's one of those rare things where like I love the figure and the card art is okay, but it looks weird. Like there's something about the dude's face, it just looks strange. To me, I don't know why. No reason in particular, but no, I love this dude, and I thought that it was all very viable. It's one of those figures that you got to a certain age where you understood how the future worked. Like, oh, they like 10 years from now, they're going to have things that are better. So like this, this is just some future shit. One of those guys like mainframe in his computer or whatever. This guy's got the fucking sound machine.
Yes.
Cookster says because Joe's need their direct TV wherever he went to. That's the most accurate one there is, I think. But that would be my take. But yeah, all right, tell me.
My only hope is that Conrad Hauser's in the chat because this is one of his favorite guys. Okay.
Yes.
Now, this is a point where I asked the question on X. Is the card art a snapshot on a particular mission, or is this what the guy wears every time? Okay. And we've seen that. So Roadblock V1, this guy has a 50 cal. He doesn't need much armor. He knows his volume of fire is his armor. City Strike, the V2 Roadblock, is armored up and he's carrying a 240 Bravo. So part of me says, is this a single mission? Now, when I look at Psych Out's card art and I know what he's doing, this is the same exact situation that we did in Gulf War I, where we played Metallica super loud and we scared the absolute hell out of the enemy. But like Mike said, you're broadcasting a Havana syndrome type wavelength that instills fear or a force subtractor. Is that even a word? A force subtractor? Like if you're going to be able to deploy a sound system that makes your enemy confused, and all you got to do is tell your troops, yeah, just put in some earplugs for this night's operation. Psych Out's going to go crazy. Psych Out plays this stuff, and before you know it, you got 2 hours of demoralized troops. You've got 2 hours of
demoralized me. What are you talking about, man?
They may have lose their balance. They may not be able to shoot straight. They may not know where they're at. Havana syndrome's real, and Psych Out. If you read his file card, he's a smart man. He's not me. You know what I mean? He's smart. So he knows that if you're going to deploy him in the battlefield, there's a reason for it, and you're going to amplify that fear device that he's got, and you're gonna take down the enemy's effectiveness with sound. Now, whether you do that by 2% or 50%, whatever it is, that percentage is still an equation, and he's still a force multiplier. So if you've got Cobras hold up, they're in a bunker, they're in an area, and Psych Out shows up and he puts these, and he's got radar dishes on his arm because he's tied to this thing that he plants down, and it's continuously broadcasting this Havana Syndrome stuff. And wherever he walks, he's still continuously broadcasting this. The other thing about Psych Out as a figure, did you know that those prongs on his backpack came out and you could replace them with the radar dishes?
No.
So the prongs on his backpack, you could take those out. They're removable. And I believe I could put the radar dishes in those areas after you pulled those prongs out. There's smart guys in here that have the figure, and they'll check it out right now. But those prongs on the backpack, you can pull right out. And I believe that those radar dishes can plug right into there.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Feature. Anyways, Havana Syndrome, Psych Out. So he's the Joe psychiatrist. Yes, you've got a problem. Yeah, you know what? PTSD is set in really hard. He's a guy you can talk to. But when you've got dug in troops that are radicals and they're not going to go nowhere, this is the guy you bring in.
Nice.
Brandon 8269 says Psych Out knows Baroness has the condo to herself tonight and picked up a box of wine and was planning on watching Outlander.
Long range.
That's possible
cool.
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, geek. All right. Thanks for coming. All right. Awesome. Okay. So yeah. All right. So what are the things on what are the radar dishes on his shoulder?
I would say that his base unit is the main transmitter with its own power supply, and he can set that down either tied to a generator or its own power supply, and that's going to continuously broadcast. And the dishes on his arms are not radar dishes; they are amplitude broadcasters for the Havana Syndrome.
Oh, okay. All right. Very cool. All right. Now, all right, we got a few more here, and then we'll call it a night. I guess we'll just go a little long if we don't mind, because I feel like we.
I'm here for I'm here, man.
Yeah, right. Whatever. I like to make them kind of not too long, but I think we're all having a good time, right? All right.
But your buzzer video is my favorite.
Yeah. What's that?
Your buzzer video is my favorite. And Sectars was so good. I learned a lot from that one, dude.
All right. Let's see. What about Fast Draw? All right.
Yeah. Now we're talking.
All right.
Fast Draw. Let's hear it, layman's.
Were you a fan of this guy?
Yes. I loved the action of having the missiles on the side. I thought his uniform was pretty cool. But for some reason, I thought I remember his uniform. I'm looking at maybe it's just a figure. I thought I remember the figure looking more like the card art, right? Had more like a brighter color, or maybe it's just
no, he didn't match the card art.
Yeah, I don't know. But no, I absolutely loved it. I think I had something happen, like I broke one of the missile holders or something on the side. And I remember being super bummed because it didn't look right anymore, right? He only had like one missile. But no, he was a great figure. Loved it. Seemed like that his whole, get up was geared to sustain the blast of the missile launching off his arm, right? It looked like
one of the few people that actually
can
sustain a backblast.
Right. Yeah, nope. I loved it. I thought it seemed relatively plausible.
How did you, when you were a kid, how did you use this guy?
As a forward attack, with those missiles on there, he was just kind of like get up close enough to, say if you've got a hiss that's running around at high speeds. Nobody can get a beat on it or catch up to it or gun it down because it's moving so fast. This guy could use his size as like to get up close, right, and close enough to launch a missile and actually take it down. So that
gotcha. How about you, Mark? How did you see this guy being
This
used?
was laser guided. He that was the thing with him. He was a mobile missile system, and he was like really maybe anti-aircraft, or he was targeting something.
Nice.
But it was laser
Mr.
guided.
Fogarty, this is not laser guided. This is Favner. This is fire and forget non-tube launch infrared infantry rocket. So the way I see this guy being used, okay. Now he's got these two handles, right, that are tied to the backpack, and you've got two missiles. First off, fast draw can be deployed. This is a troop type that is absolutely a force multiplier that can be deployed in any situation and be able to handle any targets. Is what he needs some green shirts, because he cannot operate that system effectively without reloading, okay? But let's walk through fast draw what he does. So he's got his two handles. On the end of each handle is going to be an infrared sensor, okay? We know that the Favner system is infrared, non-tube launch. Non-tube launch means that missile is capable of being underslung to a wing or anything else in the GI Joe universe. That's cool. So when fast draw comes around and he sees a hiss, or he sees a Fang 2, or he sees whatever, as long as it has an infrared signature, I picture he's got, say, 3 buttons on his controller and a joystick for modifying his HUD displays. He takes his joystick, he can be behind cover, he can poke around without even looking because his heads-up display displays it. He can push a button and say display, and it shows the infrared signature that he's looking at. Then he sees a hiss tank, okay? Then at that point, he can take a snapshot, which is actually old-style optically guided missiles. So then he can actually fall back behind cover and clip off one of these missiles, and it will fire. So I would say he's probably got 2 different modes of engagement: direct fire, like a javelin, and top down. But behind the corner, he can snap off a missile. Fire and forget is the key here. Fire and forget's the key. All he has to do is produce the infrared image on his grip.
Okay.
It gets translated to the computer, which is the missile. The missile is the computer, and the missile finds out, okay, this is the picture I need, just like the old style optical guided missiles from the 80s. And then the missile fires and it'll home in. Then he's got a second button, maybe ride on fly, where he can actually camera it out. And as the hiss moves, he's giving a steady stream of information to that missile, feeding it more data so that the missile can recognize what that is when it fires. And in proof on impact would be very high percentage. But the key thing with fast draw is he needs 2 green shirts with the 4 of those brown crates of ammo to be able to load this guy up. He fires these 2 missiles, they load him up. He fires these 2 missiles, they load him up. But his white handles, that's key, because he looks here, he snaps a picture, and he sees it in his heads-up display. Then with a thumbstick, he can select, okay, that's the target I want, select, squeeze off a Favner. It can either fire forward, the missile rack can fire up, it can shoot straight up and go a top-down attack like a javelin. This guy is absolutely legit. Like, what they're talking about, fire and forget, infrared technology, non-tube launch, whoever, whether it was Rudat, Hama, whoever came up with this is genius level shit. I shit you not to the 10th power. I love fast draw. What I want to see out of a classified fast draw is I want to see the Fafner system, and I want to see replaceable, like, I don't know about Bushmasters because they're really heavy, but maybe like some like rapid fire Lati 20 millimeter guns on each side, so that he has the option to put missiles on there and then also pop out and heads up display and like a hiss or a stinger and pepper it with 20 or 30 millimeter cannon fire. I wanted a fast draw with the Fafner missile system, and I want to take those off, and I want to put heavy cannon on the side. And this guy's got 2 controllers, a heads up display in his visor, and thermal imagery in each controller. All he's got to do is aim like fast draw, like his file card says, quick draw guy, and his heads up display's got MFDs that he can see, and he selects with thumbsticks, bam, target destroyed.
Nice. Well, Phil Chip says this dude is making me excited about taking my figures down and have a battle.
That's the best stuff I've ever heard. Thank you for that.
Metalhead stole his gear, upgraded the missiles, but removed all the protective gear. We'll get into him next. And then I want to address this one too. Gemelin Park says, "Gotta say, it's so refreshing to hear an adult collector who actually has love for this stuff to explain things using technical knowledge along with imagination." Love this compliment.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Let's get into this guy then, because I think this is a similar conversation. But
man, this guy's a meat eater. No, so layman's terms.
Yeah, Michael, you go.
I didn't have this guy. I didn't have this guy. I had to say I love what they did with him in Classified. I think it's fantastic. But I didn't have this guy, and when I'm looking at this picture, I don't know, fast draw for some reason I'm sold on that. This looks different, right? You see the extra housing for the big missile, and it just gives you this allure that it's going to be a more violent launch, right? It's just like, I don't know. I can't get behind this, but I was all day on fast draw.
Yeah, fast draw to me, it seems like it's like there's separation. He's got that 2 like the pivoting,
right.
points. And it just feels like, and he's so armored. He's got all this like, heat proofing or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And this guy does seem like he's dead. Like, it's just like, I don't see how this thing is, how he's surviving. But yeah. But he was fun. He was annoying in the cartoon. That's all I remember about him.
I didn't like him in the D cartoon.
Yeah,
I liked him in the Marvel comic. I didn't like him in the D cartoon.
Yeah. The figure, the classified figure, the missiles don't. The only problem is the missiles don't sit in the launcher.
I bought that's one of the few things I bought the upgrade kit for.
Oh yeah, okay,
yeah. It was bad.
Yeah, but all right. You tell us how does this guy work?
Okay, so Metalhead is one of the first generations where he is actually using an EHAD system. Call sign smash, hit me up in the comments, tell me where I'm wrong. He's using an EHAD system like from an Apache, and he has a laser designator in his eye and voice recognition technology for his firing. Whatever he looks at projects a laser at his target, and he squeezed off some missile by simply saying, was it boom? Was it blast?
Oh, yeah.
I made notes here. Yeah, so he says like boom. So it's voice recognition, and he squeezed off some missile when he's designating it. I don't care if it's coming from his hip, from his shoulder, or whatever. That missile, it has a dual stage motor. It's going to pop out of that launcher, boom, and it's going to fly 6 feet, and then the secondary is going to engage. He doesn't really like blast protection. I'm not worried about that. U.S. service guy doesn't need blast protection for a javelin. That's why we built it that way. But what he's got going is first generation EHAD's technology to wherever he looks, he paints his target and that missile hits. And we've seen that in the Marvel comic. That's exactly what happened in the Marvel comic. Whatever, and they even showed like the crosshair.
Glasses. Yeah.
Right? So, with him on the thigh, with missiles on the thighs, I know it sounds ridiculous. You want your weapon systems up high. But if you got a primary charge that flings the thing out 6 feet and then takes off, I don't care if it's connected to my ass. I mean, yes, I want more ammo. So let these things blast out, take off, and fire and hit their targets. I'm looking at 6 tanks right there. 6 tanks that guy can take out. That's impressive. That's more than a lot of our combat guys can do right now. You can't say like our AT4 guys can go out and take out 6 tanks. You know what I mean? Our javelin guys can do it, but it's going to take a long time reloading. But this guy could go out and take out 6 tanks by looking and saying boom. So this is impressive. First generation EHADS technology from the Apache helicopter integrated into his helmet sight with a laser designator and laser homing missiles. It makes sense to me. It's fine.
All right, fair enough. Fiddlechip says Hasbro hired this guy for his streams. Hell with dry hump. Poor Dan Larson. I like Dan Larson. People don't like Dan Larson because apparently one day he talks about politics, and I don't. I did not witness this.
I'm not going to go there. I keep politics away from my fun.
Here's my take. Yeah, that's my take. It's just I don't care because politics removed, always. Same time toys. Thought that was funny though. Okay. All right. So all right. Well, all right. Let's a couple more, and then all right. Explain to me this guy.
Dude.
If you can make this sound cool, I think you'll really achieved.
In the card art, we see him surfing on this thing, and I've never understood that. Okay, I just don't. I don't. But as a man that may or may not have had to infiltrate something, if I were going, and now he's a swamp expert. Okay, if you read his file card, he's a swamp expert. I don't know much about swamps. All I know is there's a lot of nasty shit underneath. There's leeches that'll swim up your urethra. There's gators. There's a lot of shit, right?
Yeah.
If this guy used that thing to just like as a paddleboard on his chest to kind of quietly get through the swamp, nice and quiet. Now, mind you, he's got the Super 90 shotgun, which when this figure came out, that shotgun was absolutely hitting the scene and blowing everything away, and all the cops were buying up Super 90s. So that shotgun is absolutely badass. So for him to come with that shotgun and that boogie board, you had to wonder, like, so this is so realistic. What the hell is that? The only thing I can accredit to, dude, it's got a back peg so he can carry it. But it's got a foot peg, dude. He's not surfing that shit. If I were doing that, I would be quiet as hell. Only my head, maybe my shoulders exposed, and I would be kind of gliding through the swamp with this thing on my belly. And I would keep my feet over the shitty stuff of the swamp. I don't know about gators. I mean, do gators bite my feet? I don't know. You know, I watch gator stuff on TV, but I haven't been in there. But if I were to think that I was Muskrat and I was a swamp trooper, that's how I would use that thing. That stupid boogie board that shows him surfing it. I'd lay on my chest and I would quietly paddle silently through the swamp, trying to find Crocmaster, trying to find Shadow Tracker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. How'd you use it, Michael?
I didn't have this guy.
Oh,
I did on the other hand trade for his weapon because that's fucking awesome.
It was.
Now, looking at this guy now, I do love the way he looks. I like the hat, I like the vest. He does break my no sleeves,
awesome.
But he does look pretty awesome.
Yep.
I have to admit. But
and he came with a machete, dude. Machete was actually like when he came with that, I was like, wow.
Well, it's just like a rolling. The card art is just so full of contradictions, though, because it's like if you're surfing, you're in a wide open area, there's nothing to hack down. Also, if you're trying to be quiet, you know, you got the loud ass shotgun. So again, I'm sure I could nitpick card arts if I really tried to, you know, whatever. But for some reason, as a kid, I just remember looking at this and being like, "What the fuck?"
He jumps on the kickboard, he swings by with he got the machete.
right. You know, I can buy that. That's what I can buy that.
But that's where you have to ask yourself: is the card art a snapshot in a mission, or is that what he wears every day? You hit me with Pathfinder. Okay. All right, I'm ready.
Somebody asked for it. That's okay.
I got it. I took some I penciled out some notes just so I can remember because I'm 51, man. I forget what I get off the couch for.
You're a young man.
Pathfinder, let me tell you something. So he is a point man, and if you read his file card, he technically says he is responsible for all Cobra Island covert activity. Okay, so not only is he a front man, he's a tactician, he's a strategist. Okay, so he's smart, he's very good at what he does. The weed whacker and the twin, I'm gonna call them twin 1919s, like 30 cal Brownings. That's what it looks like to me. If I were to be a point man and I'm clearing the road and I'm clearing the trail, blazing the trail for my troops, yeah, you know what? That's not a bad thing to do. If it's battery powered and quiet and it's sharp and I can make a trail for my troops to effectively go through, I'll do that. The other thing that he's got, it overwhelmingly firepower in case he jumps up into some shit. You know what I mean? You might cut down a bush, and just like the Lerp story in Larry Hama's, I believe it was Wade Collins cut down a bush and seen all the Vietnamese eating rice, right? That happens, right? So for this guy to be able to cut down something and produce overwhelming firepower is a surprise factor that the enemy might never even know. They might not hear this silent weed whacker thing. They might not see it, they might not hear it, they might not recognize it. But as soon as he starts lighting up at those 30s, whoo, look out. Right?
Yeah, that's amazing. All right. So we only got a couple more. I think a couple more on the list, but we might as well just make it all the way through, I guess.
Right on.
All right. Let's talk about this guy here.
Michael, I love that guy.
Oh yeah.
Layman's hit it.
That's an all timer for me. I know it seems weird, the backpack. So when you put the skis underneath and you set them up with the handlebars, what appears to be the propulsion part that comes off the quote unquote bottom of the seat or the bottom of that pad that he lays on, it definitely would blow his dick right off. So whatever that is, it wouldn't work. So, but I just imagined it working nonetheless. And then like if hopefully in classified, they make it so like that seat part folds down like that. And then when he lays on the seat and he's got the things and he can do it. But I loved it. I made it plausible in my head because I love the figure so much. And I really hope they do us justice in classified here because he's fucking awesome. And his weapons are cool as shit.
Oh yeah, I mean just that little system of a little ski sled or whatever the hell it is.
Yep. And the spike shoes that he gets too, they just
that was a cool accessory.
I love having him kick people in the face with those.
Yep. Removable helmet
and
too.
They fit on the backpack when he was wearing it.
Yeah.
I loved when equipment stowed. I love that stuff, man.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. They should do that all of the time with the classified figures.
Yes. So
like the fact that the iceberg doesn't have a place to put he needs a backpack to put his snowboard. That's ridiculous. The new one.
But iceberg, to me, once again, they got the kit wrong because he's a machine gunner. He originally came with an M60 E3 minus the top handle and minus the front grip. That's an M60 E3. He's trained on the file card on an M60. He's the Arctic machine gunner, and they gave him a freaking sniper rifle. The kits piss me out, man.
Yeah.
So when we talk about Blizzard, Mike, when you talk about the propulsion stuff burning his balls, you're not wrong, dude. But think about if you were an Arctic trooper and you had to assault something that's, I don't know, anywhere, you're going to find a high spot, right? Always find the high ground. And you find the high ground, you can ski down it, and with this piece of equipment, you put the skis on it, you have a forward-firing submachine gun, you're actually somewhat combat effective. It looks like it steers, it looks like he can actually maneuver with it, and it would cause some havoc, but you're only one man. And the other problem is his gear. The Uzi, as much as I praise the Uzi is one of the greatest submachine guns ever made to this day. I'll tack drive an Uzi. I've had an Uzi pistol. They're fantastic. But he's got an Uzi carbine. It is not a great weapon in cold weather. Okay, so his kit out's not great for the time. Uzi's not a good weapon for cold weather, but the idea of this guy being able to go up to a high point, size up an assault situation, and maybe radio to another unit and say, okay, diversionary tactic is going to go on, and I'm going to ski down the hill and shoot lots of shit. That gives another unit a bunch of time to do real things. So Blizzard may not just be this one-man assault force. He could very well be a diversionary guy doing the craziest Tony Hawk shit ever, and a million Cobra troopers trying to shoot him but can't hit him. And then he leaves, and by the time he left, the other Joe unit's already done its job. I don't know if Blizzard's really a direct action, direct assault guy. You know what I mean? You've got a single pointed forward machine gun on that sled. You've got an Uzi that's not going to perform well in the wintertime. You got a sidearm, looks like a 1911 to me. I'm all for that 1911 all the way. I love this figure. I want this figure right here just as much as I want Repeater, and I don't want it changed very much. For classified, this is just as good modern as it was in the 80s. And I think we would actually get the helmet that we should have got. You know, because look at that helmet that's on the card art.
It's so much cooler, yeah.
If we got that helmet and we got that looking classified, dude, that is the banger winner figure right there. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I loved him so much that I just used him year round. I didn't even care. Like his suit, I made it so his suit kept him cool. And like if he was out in the sun.
Wait, so in the suit, are you telling me you didn't have gung ho out in the Arctic?
Oh yeah. No, gung ho went wherever the fuck you wanted.
He's crazy. That's why. He's
lunatic.
Is the 80s is the Uzi the most 80s gun? Yeah, it goes well with cocaine, I think. Right?
Yeah, I was just
it does. It actually tastes the same, trust me.
2 kilos in a 60-round mag. I love it.
All right, last couple. What are these guns? What are these guns there? Were you a fan of this, Michael?
I was not. I also had my own qualms with the original Crimson Guard. And I thought this was a poor representation of it, right? Like the figure itself, if you called it something else, I probably would have looked at it differently. But I was like, man, that's an affront to the iconic figure of the Crimson Guard. Trying to pass that off, treading on that name. I didn't have it, but what I did have was, those GI Joe trading cards. Is the picture on the GI Joe trading
card? It was awesome.
Made him look a little cooler.
Yeah.
And so I did enjoy that for sure. But this, I mean, then I don't know, at least Roblox double fist. I didn't have it either. That really goes. If I had it, maybe I probably would have looked at it differently. So, but at least Roblox, I guess these do have. Now that I'm zooming in on it here, these do have something feeding it, right? Oh, okay, that's got
an ammo pack on his right leg.
And then the missile. All right, yeah, no, that's it's not so bad actually. I wish they called it something else though. Like with these iconic, like if you look at the Snow Serpent version 2, it's not a bad figure, but you call it the next Snow Serpent, people are gonna think it's trash because it doesn't look like the iconic figure. Yeah. I think that's where they go along with this. But the more I'm sitting here looking at it, actually his helmet is pretty cool.
Fogarty hit me.
They redid him later as the Collector's Club of the 25th anniversary or something, and he looked a lot better. But yeah, I never was. A lot of people love this figure. I was not so big a fan because I like the ceremonial garb, the Crimson Guard look. Yeah, but those guns make no sense to me, but they're fun.
Yeah,
I don't know. You tell me how's that gun work? I just feel like you can't fire that and aim it well.
Okay, so tactically, we got issues with the equipment, but let's talk about the troop type first. what I see in the Cobra Immortal is more of an award, because if you read the file card, these guys are the most dedicated of all the Crimson Guard
Yeah.
you've got. Okay, these guys are pumping iron. They're the barons of industry. They're the VIPs. They're running for office. So when you get to a certain point in a Crimson Guard and you're running for office, maybe you're awarded the immortal
Okay.
title, and then you get more armor to protect you because you're more of a valuable asset.
Mm.
And the weapons that he's got now, he has a backpack with extra rockets. Now we know that they're the push rockets, and that was the gimmick at the time. But he does have some rockets. I don't know if they're anti-tank. I don't know if they're anti-personnel, whatever they are, but he's got some explosive devices at range capability. And then he also has what appears to be an MG with an ammo pack tied to his leg. That tells me that he is not designed for sustained fire. He's got a very, very small ammunition capability on his leg. He's not going to be your primary machine gunner. That is backup weapon. And when you're approaching a VIP Crimson Guard Immortal, you're literally trying to attack like Rise of Cobra, the presidential staff, like those guys in the movie that the president that put those guys in charge, those would be the immortals, because they've risen above the Crimson Guard rank in their loyalty, in their dedication, in their pumping of iron, in their charging, getting uh, appointed to city council, getting appointed to a state governorship. You get a governorship and a Crimson Guard, yes, let's make you an immortal, because now we own that state, right? I mean, so to me, when I look at the Crimson Guard Immortal, I don't see much of a troop type. I see more of an award. I see more of the trophy of being the best Crimson Guard you could possibly be, and he may never even see action on the battlefield. But if he does, he's got some rockets, and he's got a light machine gun that can provide some fire for him to get out to a secure environment and get the hell out.
All right, let's bring it home with this guy. So this is the thumbnail image here.
Dun dun dun.
The battle desk. And then we'll call it a night. It's just a few more minutes. Thanks for hanging in with us, everybody. Went a little long, but
hey, thank you everybody much for putting up with my crayon eating shit.
So I was on the fence about this figure because it just looked ridiculous, and then I think it was on sale for less than $20, and I said, you know what, I got to get it for that.
Yeah.
And honestly, first of all, the figure itself, when you take them out of that half a tank, the figure itself is an absolutely phenomenal figure. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Give him an MG, and he's great.
I got lucky that CG Horror printed me a armadillo. And I swear to God, I shit you not. If you take this figure, sit it in the armadillo, it fits. It looks like he's driving a souped-up armadillo. So it actually winds up being like worth it if you have one of these armadillos. But this thing, it just I never had the other figure, the original 3 3/4. It's 10 times worse. That's one of those things. Like if I had it, I would have been like, oh, look at this, and I would have used it in the mix. But like I would have never went and actually purchased it. And the same thing with the classified. I knew I wasn't gonna like it. Now again, it's almost like if you take the thing off of him and hold the weapon system like this, you go, this looks cool, whatever this is. But when you stand it on top of a guy and then his two little legs sticking out, and he's a big figure, and then it's just these two little pencils sticking out of the bottom, it just looks so absurd. Even for, GI Joe fans who are very good at suspending disbelief with, some of the stuff that's in there, this is where I draw the line and go, I'm sorry. That good try, guys. I think you tried to make something like the original figure, and per those standards, you succeeded in that regard. But for me, it's just too absurd.
Heavy Duty was your generation's Roadblock. That's true. Roadblock, they lost the trademark to the name for a little while, and he became the name. The Assault Office. The original figure is stupid. I did not like the original figure. I did have him, and I do have him still, and it just he's very garishly colored, but then when this came out, I was like, this thing's awesome. It's just so much fun, but it is stupid.
Right.
They could have saved it, I think, if they put two maybe standing like pylon like legs,
something that could fold down.
Treads.
Right.
That or it could either be tank treads or it could be, like he's almost like a mech suit, just to keep him from not just collapsing, because I feel like his back is just going to break.
Even if they had something like down the sides of his legs to connote like a exoskeleton that's helping him carry the weight, I could have even probably got behind it then, because they did crush making the thing. The thing looks great.
Yeah, and it does.
You take the missile launcher off, put it on your shoulders. I think it looks good. I'm glad they made it. Let's put it that way.
So let me ask you this. So spring launchers, when they hit, what do you feel about the spring launchers on this original figure?
I hate all spring launchers.
Yeah, I wasn't really.
I would argue that this is probably one of the best use of spring launchers for an action figure like for GI Joe. Other than that, like I said before, dude, my hearing's so bad. I have tinnitus like 24/7. I can barely hear shit. You know what I mean? The idea of putting rotary guns, I don't care if they're 22, by my head is just headphones are not going to do it. Earplugs aren't going to do it. I know better. Okay, so that's out of the question. I've taken the figure, I've swapped it out, I put the missiles on top. Okay, and you know what? The back blast burns his eyes. And then I've taken the heavy cannon. I'm going to say they're 20 mil. And I've taken the heavy cannon. I put them there. And I'm like, you know what? If I had 20 mil cannon busting in front of my face, I'm going to turn around and bitch out home. So this entire rig is, to me, it does not work in any way. And there's one thing that really bothers me. Is it when we talk about armor, I'm an armor specialist. Okay, when we talk about armor, you've got this glacial grade right here that is literally a 45. Any spalling from small arms is going right to his jugular. I don't like much about the tactical reality of the figure. Yes, it's fun. I actually took class 2 shelf problem. I took that roadblock, and I like him with it. You know what I mean? So I bought 2 of them so like these cats can have a crew, but in the same sense, don't ask me to don that shit because I ain't, because that literally that school desk of terror is your weapon of last resort in a defensive position when you're about to get overrun and you don't care about your own health, hearing, or anything else like that, and you're going to don that to save your life.
Okay.
On top of it, your mobility is seriously limited. You're a target for everything on a battlefield. Spalling from that front trauma plate is going to slam right into you. I see no practical use for this at all besides it looks cool.
I did like the targeting system that they had, the little eyepiece. I think that looks cool.
Yes, and that's the stuff that I really like, Mike. Like, you give me a targeting system, I'll buy into that. But in the same sense, you've got 5.56 miniguns a foot and a half from my face, and I know what that feels like, dude. Like, when those are going off for 2 minutes, the pressure differential on your face, you wake up and you're like, was that a dream?
They did a good job also marking up that plate that you're talking about, and underneath.
Yeah, it looks great.
And that they did.
It's got a bullet hole and everything.
Right, yeah. It would have a lot of bullet holes apparently. So, yeah. All right, yeah, all right. Well, fair enough. So that we had out of the whole lot, there was 2 things you were like, no, that ain't gonna work. pretty much.
Hey, dude, I call it like I said, dude. I'm not gonna kiss ass, dude. If it's
No,
bullshit,
that's
it's
crazy. I
bullshit.
would assume most of it doesn't
Like
work.
I said, the laser viper. Everybody thinks they shoot lasers. No, if you read the file card, they are laser designation for Cobra artillery and air support. So when you have laser vipers in the field and they're shooting their lasers, they're directing artillery and bombs, and that is way better than some guy shooting lasers.
Fair enough. All right. All right. Well, I think that we'll call it a night with that. It's been a long one. So, but what do you guys got going on? Anything, GI Dave? You got anything?
Actually, I have my first GI Dave video where we're gonna break down the hiss, and it's in editing right now, and that should be hitting pretty soon. And I should have videos out hopefully every week, and I'm gonna break down first GI Joe vehicles and stuff like that. But man, Mark, when you had that Masters of the Universe video, dude, and you had your cats on there, I so wanted to jump into that, dude, because you know, not just a fan. That movie made me a returning fan because I was the cat that I grew up with the Masters of the Universe in the first wave and this dark packaging, the dark comics and all this shit. And then we got Orko and Prince Adams. And me and all my friends were like, this is the biggest blue balls of the 80s. What the fuck happened? So for me to go in and see that movie, and dude, I loved your expert synopsis and your summary of the video of the movie, because I learned a lot from it. But for me, as not a Motu fan, I went to that movie and I loved it. Then I came and watched your video and I was like, dude, these cats are absolutely right. All that stuff makes sense. I love it. And it made me even love it more, even though they were kind of against some of the stuff, but they liked a lot of it.
Yeah. Nice. All right, awesome. So you got some videos coming out. What about you, Michael? What's going on?
Yes. I am Destro Designs, Viper Den Studios. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads. You catch me on my channel, Destro Designs, on YouTube. That's Saturday. We are live from Viper Den Studios at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. On Mondays, you can find me here with my brother Mark. Mark, thank you so much for always having me on the Destro is My Spirit Animal Live. Tuesdays and Fridays, I'm dropping articles for Serpentor's Lair. And then now I'm just kind of announced the other day that I am the writer of what is basically going to be the first 12 issues of the Shadow Strike comic book, as well as a booklet that we're going to pop off with at first, where I'm just going to kind of use it to, like, the format's going to be like, there's going to be two separate parts of it. And one is going to be the Citadel and the Shadow Strike guy talking. And then the other thing is going to be the AI Queen and one of their people talking, and in their conversations it's going to kind of like lay out what the world is that we're stepping into with these figures, as just kind of like a good way to a creative way to get the backstory out there. And then and then throughout the 12 issues of the comic book, we will be developing all of the characters that you're going to grow to love, and then when the figures hit, you'll be dying for them. That's the plan.
I agree 100%, dude. What Roadblock, I say, Steve, what he's doing right now is literally the dream all of us has had since 82, and this cat's doing it. And I'm telling you what, it's so badass watching him go through the steps, dude. And Mike, for you to be part of it, Mark, I know you're watching it and all this stuff.
Oh yeah, totally.
I talked to Steve. And I try my best to add, because all I want to do is see him succeed. Really.
Yes,
because
absolutely. Yeah.
I don't, please don't get me wrong. I'm not an anti-Hasbro guy, but as soon as they announced they were moved from Pawtucket, there was part of me that was like, I'm fucking divorcing you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, fuck those guys. That sucks.
You know, it's like,
I still love it, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. You know what I mean? And maybe that has something to do with it. But there's a potential now that not only is this a fandom, friends, this is an industry. This really is. And you've got guys like Roadblock, and that are making their own lines. You've got like Carson that is tapped into Ron Rudat and Hama
totally.
making their own lines. Like one of my biggest wet dreams is for Carson to look at my M1982A1 and be like, yeah, that's good. Or Rudat to look at that and be like, you know what, I'd buy that. You know what I mean? That's where it's at. And we're adult enough now that we can say screw everybody else, because honestly what I'm doing is way cooler than whatever the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? Am I right?
Yeah.
So it's a good time, man. And Mark, thank you very much for having me on. I sincerely appreciate every time you have me on. And Mike, thank you very much for being here as well.
Thanks,
no, it's awesome having you. Yeah, we'll definitely have you again to do Dreadnought weapons.
Nice.
Friends and everybody that interacts with me, tell me where I went wrong. Tell me where I went right. Feed me some more information. Teach me, learn me, whatever it is. Correct me. I love learning. The second you stop learning is the day you die.
Well, nice to have you, Billy Boys Toys. All right, yeah. So what do I got going on? Right now, I have read the unproduced He-Man screenplay, and I did a video on that, so that should be interesting. And a unproduced GI Joe screenplay, which is absolutely good, which is from predates the Rise of Cobra. So I'll be doing videos on those.
And did you say it was dog shit?
The Rise of Cobra, the GI Joe one is absolute dog shit. Worse than the Rise of Cobra.
I gotta hear that though.
I gotta be me bitching, but the He-Man one is amazing. It would have been way better than the movie that we got. So
no shit.
Both were really interesting, and I like the movie. So but
right.
Those are the two things coming out any minute, I guess. But.
One thing, Mark, if you don't mind, one thing I would like to say, if any of you guys are going to be at Joe Fest next weekend, I think it is. Please, I got shirts. They're going to have my name all over it. Please come up and chat with me. I want to meet everybody, and I'm going to have a bunch of those blueprints for the caseless M82A1. And for all me, just let's get together. That'll be a fun time.
I wish I was going. It really hurts. That was
it hurts. It hurts on this side too, Mark. It hurts on this side too.
But next year. So
next year, as far as I know, next year is going to be something special, because I have a friend that's telling me next year is going to be something special.
All right, let's all go next year. So I really wanted to go this year. I tried and it just didn't work out. So. But all right, well, thanks so much, guys. Let's call it a night. But thank
you very much, friends. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you having me.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Heading to Japan. Yeah, exactly. All right, see you guys.
Later, guys.